Welcome to Rocket Sports Cards with a very special presentation tonight, the NFL Draft Special. As we open up, you guys hear the wicked cool guitar riff at the start of the program. Sending our love up to Eddie Van Halen, passed away today. I wasn't a big Van Halen fan, but regardless, he's an icon in the industry, and we might want to mention him tonight. So. Very sad news in the music world today, but that's not going to stop us from having some fun here tonight. We have the NHL Draft, 2020 NHL Draft. Let's get right to it, folks. We're going to bring Brandon in right now.
Hey, guys. You can see her a little off center now. Mike and I are getting really close together because we've got some different things going on. We're using the monitor to actually watch part of the draft as well as check our phones. You'll notice down below me, you've got the insignia or the logo of the team that is on the clock. We're going to put the clock up for them. You guys are welcome to chat. We can see that Fred has already said hi. Hey, Fred. Good to see you.
What's going on, Fred?
So we're going to have some fun tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This will be definitely our longest show. The draft does take a while to get through the first round.
Extra caffeine in the tea tonight.
Extra caffeine. It's called lemon pound cake, and I told Brennan it's funny that he brought me that because that is my porn star name.
Yep.
Lemon pound cake, but just kidding. We don't talk about that on Out of Bounds. I just downed 2 double cheeseburgers, and I think I'm good to go for the night.
He's off the diet.
I'm off the diet. Just tonight, though. Just tonight. Just a little bit off the rails for the diet right now. But anyways, as we know, the New York Rangers have the first pick overall. Definitely going to take Lafreniere, and then things get interesting.
Yeah, did you see there was talk? LA had actually talked about swapping
Yes,
picks.
I did see that.
That is interesting, and New York told them to go pound sand. They had absolutely no intention of getting rid of the first pick.
They always listen, though. They say they always listen, but the first overall pick, I think there's just too much PR and too much marketing behind it for a team like New York that's been selling it to their fans for the last month or two that they are going to be picking him. How do you disappoint your fans that maybe they even have jerseys already made up?
Oh, I bet they do.
How do you do that to your fan base? Some major news. We had a trade alert early on. We will go over the trades with you as well. Major trade today. I would say it's a major trade. Max Domi going to Columbus Blue Jackets for Josh Anderson. Both teams. Also, there was a third-round pick going to Columbus from Montreal. That's where a lot of people are hung up on this trade. They felt the pick should have been going the other way. But I'm going to tell you right now that Max Domi kind of checked out in Montreal the entire year. He's the only guy that I've ever been... He's one of the only guys that I've ever seen get multiple breakaways and shoot the puck into the crowd on a breakaway. Like, it's just unreal. The guy just never really got off. He had a really good first season in Montreal, and the fans loved him. And then after that, it was kind of one of those things where, what have you done for me lately? The fans, I don't think the fans really turned on him, but the team definitely did as far as management and the coaching. He was slated to be Montreal's 4th center because the problem with Max Domi was he was refusing to play the wing. They didn't see him as a center in Montreal. He would have been 4th on the depth chart. With COVID, you can't joke around about stuff like that anymore. He would have been 4th on the depth chart, as I was saying. Montreal needed a top 6 winger and presented themselves with Josh Anderson. Now, a lot of Montreal fans are pretty upset that Josh Anderson is the return for Max Domi. Well, he's only a season or 2 off from a 27-goal campaign. He hasn't been healthy.
2 seasons. He had shoulder surgery.
He had shoulder surgery. Actually, if you're watching live on one of the major networks right now, they're talking about the guy that I'm hoping that the Montreal Canadiens do pick. It's Hendrix Lapierre. He's absolutely tearing it up in the preseason and now the start of the Q. It's one of those things where he's had serious injuries, medical problems with concussions, and is he going to be able to play a full season? But he has the skill, no doubt, and it's one of those things where he's going to be a home run if he pans out for a team. But back to the Max Domi and Anderson trade. Both teams get what they need. I think it was a good hockey deal. I think both teams will benefit from that. 6'3", 222 pounds, Josh Anderson. And before Montreal fans get so upset about it, there were numerous teams calling Columbus about Josh Anderson. I think that's why the third-round pick was thrown in, just to seal the deal,
Yeah.
so that somebody else didn't pop up and take him from Montreal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Brandon did come to me earlier tonight when we were getting ready. He did mention that you think Detroit's going to take who?
The Russian goaltender that has all of a sudden showed up. Apparently, I was listening to NHL Network today on Sirius XM, and they were talking about the reason why Detroit has not signed a goaltender is because they are considering that Russian goaltender Yaskarov.
That's pretty interesting news, because that means that Detroit would there pass on a guy like Cole Perfetti, who I deem might be the second best player in the entire draft in the long run. I think it's going to be Lafreniere, obviously. There's no doubting that. He's got all the skill and all the talent. But after first overall, and not all the time first overall does pan out. We've seen multiple times where it didn't pan out, with Yakupov being the latest. But it's going to be one of those things where, where's the value in this draft after, say, 3? 3 seem to be set in stone. What order 2 and 3 will go in? Byfield or Strutzel? That is still to be determined. If I'm LA Kings, I'm taking Strutzel second. I don't care what anybody thinks.
I would agree with that. I think that he should go second. I know I was really big on Drysdale, but
I look at it this way. It's the Svechnikov thing. Svechnikov, being a European-born player, maybe he should have went first in that draft. If you redo that draft with Dahlin, Svechnikov's probably your first overall pick if you redid that draft right now. He's just that good. Like, he's a 40-goal guy, and you just can't find that. There's only, if we did the math, there's probably less than a dozen guys that score 40 or more goals. So it's very hard to find that talent. Yes, it's very hard to find top-tier defensemen as well, like a Dahlin, but he hasn't really turned it on yet. He's been okay. He plays on a terrible team. So we'll see what happens with that. But as of right now, Svechnikov, if we went back, would be my first overall pick. So it's just a crazy thing. With the argument that maybe even a Brady Tkachuk moves up in the draft. Brady Tkachuk went 4th overall to the Ottawa Senators. He did go 4th overall to the Senators, and he's an outstanding player. So those are the top 2 players in that draft. We had Kotkaniemi at 3 and Dahlin at 1. But that was a couple of years ago, anyways. But we'll talk about that later on. So I'm thinking you take Strutzel at 2, the European player. I think they just don't get as much hype as the Canadian-born or American-born players. So I think you take that guy and you live with the rewards of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's got a ton of time to grow out in LA. There's no real urgency there for him. Ottawa, will they even have a team in 5 years? Who knows? There's serious financial problems, but if I'm in this draft right now and I'm the Detroit Red Wings and I have the number 4 pick, I'm trading down. If your object is to take the goaltender,
I agree with you 100%.
I would stay in the top 10. I would find somebody like in the 8 or 9 range that has no interest in a goaltender whatsoever, because as far as I know, the next team on the list that's probably looking for a goaltender is Carolina.
I think most mock drafts had that goaltender as high as 9.
Yes.
And that was it. That's as high as I've seen him.
If you're the Detroit Red Wings and you can go from 4 till 8 and acquire an extra second-round pick or maybe even a late first-round pick for him, and you still get the player that you want, that's a deal that you have to make. So if they think this goaltender is their future there, you're willing to move down a little bit. You run the risk of maybe missing him, though. Yep. So now you're going to miss out on a guy like Cole Perfetti, and you're going to miss out on the goaltender that you traded down for, because you know there might be a team trade up in front of you to get him. So you have to take that risk, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, we got a few guys online. We got Fred and Alex.
Fred and Alex.
Looks like we have 8 live viewers. If you're on live right now, definitely say hello. If you're watching on the replay, we'll see how we did with our predictions tonight.
And thank you for tuning in.
And yeah, for sure. This is our first time doing it's not our first time doing a special presentation. We did the NFL Draft, the NFL Preview, but this is our first time live streaming a live as it happens event.
So
It's
we
very different.
will, just so you know, we probably
We
will
will
be on our
phones a lot.
phones watching. We're kind of tied into insiders and stuff, and we're looking to see what can come down the wire, try and break some news for you. You're going to see me looking at the computer a lot because I have to prep a lot of the transitions that are happening back and forth. So if there's a little bit of dead air, just stick with us. We will get to analysis, and we will get to, amateur analysis.
Yes.
So
and
we will get to amateur
we will
analysis.
we will definitely answer all your questions, so definitely give us a minute while we're doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm just reading here. Looks like the Senators plan to make all their picks at 3, 5, and 28. None of the picks right now are available. That's interesting because when you have 3 first-round picks, especially at 28, you're going to get 2 high impact. You're going to get 2 very good prospects at 3 and 5. Obviously, I thought for sure that the 5 pick might be in play, but if the 5 wasn't in play, I thought absolutely the 28 would be in play.
I agree.
They probably could have picked up a pair of second rounders early for that 28. And there's not a big difference between 25 to 35 anyways. Maybe this year was such a deep draft. Actually, this year was such a deep draft. I'm seeing a lot of guys slide that maybe were top 15 picks at the midway part. And there's a lot of guys moving up as well. So there's always surprises and guys available on the second day. Obviously, there's 31 picks now with 31 teams. So the first round is getting a little bit bigger, 31 guys rather than 30 in previous years. 32 starting next year, obviously. But
hit us with a Borat. Let me see if I can remember.
How you doing, Jeff? Just tons of news that coming on the air right now.
So we did actually hear as well today, Connor McDavid tested positive for COVID-19.
Yep, we read that last night, actually.
That was news that had broken. And you texted me today while I was teaching, and you talked to me about how Lundqvist was potentially found a suitor.
Yes, so I did see it come across a wire that Lundqvist has a deal in place with the Washington Capitals. Obviously, it hasn't broke yet right now, so it's one of those things that maybe it's just hearsay right now or rumor.
Yeah.
But we're hearing right now that Lundqvist is probably headed to the Washington Capitals. He is a free agent. We also heard that a ton of guys right now are opting for free agency. So just before we came on the air, I was watching. I can't remember what the program was called, but it had Jeff O'Neill on it. Anyways, did you remember what I was watching?
No,
it was on Major Network. Anyways, but the 3 guys on the program were actually saying that Montreal actually bought out Carl Alsner this morning as well. They had $10 million available at the start of the day, just over $10 million in cap room. They did have to sign Max Domi, who was a restricted free agent. They're thinking that's part of the deal as well, that Max Domi just wanted that much more money than a Josh Anderson, so they're actually saving money by bringing in Josh Anderson. I don't think they're done tonight. I think the 16th overall pick is definitely in play for a elite player. That elite player, we've been talking about it all week, might be Patrick Laine. They might go off the board and talk to a team like Calgary that has some cap issues themselves. As of right now, they're looking for a left winger. They're pretty set on the right side right now. They've got Gallagher, the addition of Anderson. I think they've got Lehtinen and Armia as well playing right wing. Left wing, they're sitting at Tatar. Who else is on the left? I'm befuddled by it right now. Actually, I got it in front of me. Drouin, Tatar, Paling, and Lehtinen on the left. Anderson, Gallagher, Armia, and Byron on the right, with Bazile, who was a rookie last year, and Wheel being the extra forwards. Down the middle, Suzuki, Deneau, Kotkaniemi, and Evans, who came on in the playoffs there. So what they're talking about right now is the fact that they do have the money right now to maybe acquire another large contract. And the guys on television were talking about the fact that Taylor Hall said he always wanted to play in Montreal. And he's going to have to take less money because he hasn't been as productive the last few years. They're thinking that Taylor Hall takes probably like a $6 million year for a 2-year term to try and get his game back. And then strike it rich after 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know if
he's gambling on himself.
Yeah,
that's basically what they're doing. And do they entertain that because Taylor Hall being a left winger?
That may be a reason to take him, is because he's got to try to prove himself, because
he wants to get paid.
He hasn't had the accolades that he was supposed to have, right?
Yeah, Jeff. So the draft. I'm just answering Jeff's message here. The draft is definitely more exciting for trades these days than it is for the actual draft itself. There's not many surprises in the draft anymore. With central scouting, with draft boards all over the place, from like ESPN, TSN, everybody out there's doing a draft board. You have a rough idea who the first names get moved around in certain positions, but you pretty much know who the top 25 guys are. Just where are they going to fall, and you always know usually like the top 3 to 5 where are they going to fall. They kind of get mixed up. One is usually a consensus. There's always a head and shoulders guy above everybody else. This year it's Lafreniere. But like I said, it changes, right? Like, say Lafreniere came out and has a rough start to his career, and Strutzel or Byfield are absolutely tearing it up in their markets. Maybe it's. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's the real deal. I think he's the best player to be drafted since Connor McDavid.
Got our first hot rumor.
What do you got?
Taylor Hall heading to Western Canada.
He may be going back to Edmonton. I did hear that they might bring him back to Edmonton. Do you want to give your source on that?
NHL Trade Rumors on Twitter.
Gotcha. I will confirm.
Is this the pick right now? Is that what
they're on the clock? The Rangers are on the clock. They have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. That's way less than what I thought. This year. Hang on a sec. There we go.
Jay, how's it going? We got 5 minutes on the clock. We're a little bit behind them, obviously.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought we had 15.
So this is kind of a waste of time for us. All they're going to do is pump Lafreniere's tires here.
Yeah.
They're gonna talk about we're really impressed with him. He's a good family.
That's what Jeff Gorton is saying on a Lafreniere.
Who cares? Yeah. Just get up there and say,
can you score goals? Can you put butts in the seat? Can you help win us a cup?
But what I'm thinking is, like, why do they have to drag out the 5 minutes when we know it's going to be him?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the analysts need the work, eh? They get to show highlight reel. Yeah. So, anyways, very interesting.
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Very interesting, though. One thing we're gonna I did mention this on Out of Bounds the other night. They originally hoped for a December start time. They just announced that the season will start January 1st. So we are focused on a January 1st start. That's direct from Gary Bettman tonight. So we're hoping, they don't know if the season will actually start on the 1st, but that's the day that they're aiming for. And I have heard insider information that they're hoping that the Winter Classic is actually the first game of the year. That's going to be the big kickoff for the season.
Hey, Big Al.
Big Al, what's going on? Go Leafs, go. Your Leafs are drafting tonight. Who do you think they're going to take? We're looking for everybody's insight on this. Throw your picks up. We've got Lafreniere going 1, obviously. I have Strutzel going 2nd. Do you have? We have them both going second.
Going second.
Just as
Drysdale going 3rd.
As the shocker, Byfield.
Byfield going
3rd. Yeah,
Drysdale going 5th. Yeah. And then if Detroit doesn't trade down, I will say that they'll take Perfetti. But if they do trade down, then they're taking that goalie for sure.
Okay, so we've got some predictions on the board right now. We're just kind of following along what's going on right here. And he's also saying that... Taylor Hall has expressed interest of going west.
Going west. Yep.
So, to me, going west means not to a Canadian team. I don't think any of the West teams have any cap room. Obviously, they could make room by... or he takes a very low contract. They did say today that he's already made $50 million in his career.
Yeah.
He might sign a 2-year deal worth $2.5–3 million each year with the chance to win. Colorado's another team that may be interested as well to get them over the hump on a sweet deal anyways. So they did talk about that as well. But as far as it sits, Edmonton was also mentioned because they're always looking for someone to play with Connor McDavid out there. They need wingers out there like NHL wingers, but they haven't really been able to produce that.
So Jay's asking about the Caps picking up a goalie from the Rangers.
So the Caps, they didn't pick up a goalie from the Rangers. What we're hearing right now is that they are going to sign Henrik Lundqvist. We don't know what the term is or what the deal is, but it's been rumored all day that Henrik Lundqvist will be going to the Washington Capitals. I told Brandon about that earlier today. They're just showing comparisons right now to Lafreniere and Crosby since they both played for the Oceanic. We're just kind of following along on line here too as well. But we're looking at, obviously Lafreniere is going 1. I'm not sure why they haven't announced it yet, but
yeah, this should not be taking that long.
They like to drag it out for the entertainment value of it. But where do you as we're sitting here, this is off the cuff, but I think Lafreniere. Am I saying it right?
Lafreniere.
Lafreniere. I don't like whatever. But Alexis. I'm like, Alexis, how good is your career going to be? Lexus, or what's the robot's name? Alexa.
So
Amazon. I'm gonna say Alexis. Tell me how good your career is gonna be. I have him being projecting to be somewhere in between. I think he's gonna be better than say an Austin Matthews, but not as good as a Connor McDavid. Obviously, I think he's got all the skill, anyways.
How many points? How many points do you think in his rookie season?
In his rookie season,
60.
60, yeah.
60.
I think he'll get 25 goals his rookie year.
All right, the pick is in.
The pick is in, and the Rangers have selected Alexa, Amazon, Lafreniere. Jeff Gordon, the general manager, not the race car driver, is making the pick right now.
Big Al is saying the Leafs are taking Justin Barron, a big D man.
That would definitely help, but it's not going to help right now. So the thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs is they're gonna ruin somebody. They're gonna pick a big defenseman and probably rush him into the league because they have a desperate need for defensemen, and they're gonna ruin that guy. I do see that Toronto picks 15th overall. If I'm Toronto, I don't know. I go after a guy like Mercer, or you steal a guy like Hendrix Lapierre. I think Montreal is going to be high on them. There's quite a few guys in that 15 area that. So what I'm saying is that there's a ton of guys between like 13 and 25 that are all mixed about. So it's just who do you prefer? After the first like 10 picks or so, it gets kind of interesting. Leafs take Justin Barron.
Yeah, big D man is what he said. LA is on the clock.
LA is on the clock. I like that it's only 5 minutes this year.
Yeah, this is good. This is
good.
Quick.
This is going to make things a lot smoother for us. We don't have to spend as much time talking about, say, the LA Kings.
Makes things more difficult for me as a producer to try to keep these fonts up, but I like this. I can work with under pressure. I'm happy with this.
Like I said, we've got our first pick with Lafreniere going number 1. It is official.
Was there any surprise? Like, I mean, honestly,
no surprise
was there
there.
any surprise at all?
I'm just trying to, where am I here with the NHL Draft? So here's where it gets interesting. They're still talking about Alexei. Is it Byfield or is it Strutzel? This is where the draft really starts. Number 1 was a consensus. Like, no one even considered anything else. Obviously, the Rangers were fielding calls on the first overall pick, but they said 100% it wasn't happening. So we're just working on the LA Kings right now. Not a lot of chatter on Twitter right now, especially from insiders.
Well, I don't think anyone expected there to be anything magical happening on the first overall pick, right? So
no, definitely.
We know for sure that it was going to be him. So LA's got about 3:30 left on the clock. What do you think that they're going to take? You think they're going to take? You think they're going to take the German?
If I were them, I would take him. I think he's going to be the Svechnikov of the draft. I think in 3-4 years you're going to be like where Byfield's a good player, but not maybe a superstar. Like he reminds me like of a Ryan Getzlaf. Like obviously Ryan Getzlaf, very good hockey player, But given the chance to take, say, a Ryan Getzlaf, or I know Ryan Getzlaf won cups, and maybe it's not a good example, but just a big, all-around good player. But he's not a game breaker, and maybe it depends on what your team needs in 2-3 years. LA to me with so the thing that would change things for me with Kopitar. So with Kopitar being a center, and him in the twilight of his career, and Byfield maybe stepping in to take over for him as the number one center there, that's something that they could always use too. But I think they've got other guys in the pipeline that are gearing up for that spot as well. So, who's this here? Is this a picture of...
That's Lafreniere still.
Wearing the Montreal Canadiens toque. So that makes things interesting, right? So these guys, the money's the same everywhere. We've talked about that. So when you're one of the elite players in the league, say like a John Tavares, even though he's not, and I'm doing the air brackets right now.
Yeah.
You can choose where you want to go when he becomes a free agent. And when you see a guy like Lafreniere wearing a Montreal toque, maybe in 7 years when things are different, maybe he jumps ship to Montreal as a free agent. Maybe that's the team he's always wanted to play for, but it's a business, and the NHL is going to tell him where he needs to go. So, and that's we've been talking about that from the start. When Lafreniere or New York Rangers were one of the teams that were possibly rumored to get the first overall pick, I said it was going to be the only place that made sense for me was the New York Rangers because they're such a big market. The LA Kings were one, and the Chicago Blackhawks were the other. But when both those teams played in the bubble, LA was out already, but Chicago was playing in the bubble and lost their chance at having the first overall pick, I said the New York Rangers were the realistic place for him to go. I think we might have... This is interesting.
That it's taking this long?
That it's taking this long. Looks like they go with Byfield. I'm getting it from Elliot Friedman right now that the LA Kings pick is in. You can bring that up now. And they have selected Byfield.
Are we that delayed on this feed, though? That
I don't think so. I think it's just he knows.
All right.
They're complaining online that the draft's taking too long. Quentin Byfield from the Sudbury Wolves does go second overall to the LA Kings. I think we're about a minute behind on the feed here on the television, but with Twitter it being instant, we're getting the information there.
Yep.
So we were wrong. Stützle goes third, unless I doubt anybody's going to move that pick.
I don't think so. Ottawa will take them. They'll be
I
happy with
honestly thought with LA taking so long to get that pick in that possibly there was a deal on the table there that they were thinking about.
Look at Robbie Blake.
Rob Blake from Simcoe, Ontario.
Yeah. Brian Parker says he wanted him as a Sen.
I think you're going to end up being very happy with Stützle. I don't think you need to worry about. You're still going to win. I like he's wearing the
Look, he's got
white
a white tuxedo.
But this Quentin Byfield guy, he looks like he's probably about 30 years old already and posing as a 18-year-old. Just checking some of the chat going on right now. a lot of guys online that are experts. I do the air brackets again, experts.
Yep.
Saying that I'm 2 for 2 in the mock draft. First year I've gone 2 for 2 in a while. But Byfield was the consensus second pick. I thought there might be a surprise with Stützle at 2, but we're looking at... So the pick is in. Shouldn't Ottawa be on the clock now?
They don't have them on the clock yet.
We should have Ottawa on the clock right now. It hasn't actually started, though. Throw it up there anyways. We'll give them 5 minutes on our end.
Okay.
This pick should definitely not take as long because it was going to be one.
Yeah, two and three.
Ottawa was picking the other guy. It didn't matter. Like they were either going to pick Byfield or Stützle. It didn't matter. So the clock's up now. It just started for them. We're about 10 seconds ahead of them right now. Maybe in TV land we're actually behind, but pretty interesting. They're going with the center out in LA, so like I said before, maybe it's to replace a guy like Kopitar. So NHL potential here. They're talking about it being a franchise center. Comparables of Evgeny Malkin. I don't like comparables. Because who was Malkin compared to when he was drafted? You know what I mean?
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. He has physicality. He's good on face-offs, size, hands, and creativity. Left-handed shot. I don't know. Is there a preference between a left-handed or a right-handed centerman? I don't think so.
I don't think there is either.
But we're looking at the highest selected Sudbury Wolves of all time. Second is the highest. They've got Mike Foligno at third, Benoit Pouliot, and Adam Bennett. So if you're going by that list, that was Mike Foligno, the father, obviously. If you're going by that list, a couple of those guys had decent NHL careers, but not superstars, so who knows? Just looking at some of his agilities here as they're talking about them. Brandon seems to be working on some deals on the phone over here.
I'm just taking a look at rumors and stuff. It's pretty quiet. I'm checking a bunch of sources and I see nothing.
It's fairly quiet right now, which is surprising. But I think that's normal. I think at number 4 is where we're going to see things maybe start to move around, or maybe discussions, anyways. It's kind of different this year because watching in the past when it's held in an arena, you could actually have the GMs walk over to another table and talk to another GM. Sometimes they didn't do that because they wanted to call them on the phone so no one knew their business. You tip your hat when you're talking to another team. Or sometimes it's just for show. So if you have Dubas from Toronto walking over to talk to Yzerman from Detroit, all of a sudden the rumors start to fly that Detroit's 4th overall pick's available and Toronto's sending Mitch Marner the other way. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff happens. But it's all smoke and mirrors. Maybe Steve Yzerman asked Dubas to come over to raise the price on the 4th overall pick. You know what I mean? We've got other people interested, basically, and false markets. We talk a lot about false markets when it comes to collectibles and such. So, but we got 2 minutes left on the Ottawa clock right now. We're just waiting to see. Obviously, they're going to take
Stützle. Now I like him because he can play center. He's a natural center, but he can also play on the wing. And he's actually come out and said publicly that he has no problem as long as he's playing any forward position. So he'll play left wing, right wing, center, wherever you want him. That makes him pretty valuable, I would think.
So Jack Todd, longtime writer of the Gazette, just posted, F you. Don't compare these kids to Evgeny Malkin or anyone else. Let them be them, and remember, half of these will be outright busts. Never mind falling way short of a guy like Malkin. So that's why I just said it earlier. Like, I don't like comparisons. They do it for television reasons, like... it's just one of those things that it gets people talking, right? Bruce Gerrich from the Ottawa Sun saying Tim Stützle's been compared to a player such as Patrick Kane. Again, they're comparing him to a guy that's an MVP candidate,
yeah,
100-point guy.
I think the idea is to get them excited, right? That's what you're trying to do.
It's to get fan bases excited, but they got, like, I am in total agreement. This guy looks like he's shitting bricks right now.
Yeah.
They're showing him live on the screen.
He's rolling his eyes. Like he looks like he's not happy that
he's not happy that he's going to the Ottawa Senators.
He looks like he's not happy that he's going number 3 either.
Byfield is NHL ready. We'll see about that. I don't think anybody's really NHL ready out the gate. There's a lot of a learning curve there because they get hurt. They get hit by a guy like
They have an interesting stat up here when you're taking a look at the top 5 selections in franchise history. Alexei Yashin, Alexander Daigle, Radek Bonk, Brian Berard, Chris Phillips, Spezza, and Brady Tkachuk. What do you think of those first top 5 picks? Those are all pretty good picks. Maybe Alexander Daigle.
Radek Bonk might be the only bust up there. Honestly, he never, as the 3rd overall pick, Radek Bonk had a good NHL career, but not a 3rd overall type guy. But everybody else, Alexander Daigle, everybody laughs about Alexander Daigle, but he was like an 80, 90-point guy.
Yeah.
It's just back when he was drafted, he was supposed to be a 140, 150-point guy. When they're calling you the next Gretzky, that's a problem. We got the pick in here, I believe.
Brian asks, the real question is, will Alexis be in Series 1? You got anything?
Nothing. Alex Trebek is he's going to do the pick for the Ottawa Senators. It's a nice tribute for Alex Trebek, struggling with cancer. We're seeing here that Alex Trebek, the category, the NHL, with the third pick. This is kind of neat.
Choose this player. Who is it?
This is kind of neat that the Ottawa Senators reached out to Trebek, and he's game for doing this. I wonder who's going to give the answer.
Tim Stützle.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the pick's in. Nothing changed. Kind of a neat thing with Alex. Maybe he's not around next year. Hopefully he is, but he's been struggling for a while. But good to see him be a fun sport with doing that.
Oh, can't handle the microphone. Look at he's just ripped the microphone out of his jacket.
Pretty good stuff having Trebek. Yeah. Apram Basu from the Athletics saying, "Can we have Trebek announce all the picks?"
Look they had his jersey ready for him, eh? Look at this. He is getting that thing on very.
And I do like that they've got the old black jersey out for tonight.
Now at 6'1", 187 pounds, he's got to beef up a bit.
He's pretty close to NHL playing size for 6'1". Maybe another 15, 20 pounds, but
that's a lot though. 15, 20 pounds is a lot.
He's not going to get pushed around at that size, though. I don't think so. If he was like 165, 170 pounds, like a lot of guys that are 18 years old, then it might be an issue, but he's 15 pounds heavier than most. There's always the wild card of Europeans, too. They do have to, I know with the Finns, they have to spend 2 years in military service. Can this guy come over immediately? That's another thing. You might have to wait for him if the Germans have any type of military obligation. I think a lot of Europeans do. I think the Russians and I do believe that if they're they sometimes, I don't think they make them exempt, but they let them do it early so that it doesn't interrupt.
And I imagine that they probably see no frontline duties.
No. Well, they're not. Nobody's at war right now.
No,
anyway,
I know,
so.
But still, you go through a little bit of basic training and you're probably fine. All right, Wings are on the clock now. This is what I'm curious to see what they do here.
Breaking news: the Ottawa Senators have acquired Alex Trebek. That's from Sid60 from the Score. Everybody's having fun with this Trebek stuff going on. I do enjoy that. I think that's awesome. No rumors on the board right now. It looks like Detroit with just over 4 minutes here on our clock. It looks like they will make. Look at him as a baby. Pretty awesome that they have these shots of them as we call them Timbits in Canada, but shots of this kid when he was a little guy, Tim Stützle. So I think he's going to be. There's an interesting. The German program is starting to kick out very good players. Stützle's the highest drafted player ever. Obviously, Draisaitl was third as well.
Yep.
No comparisons here, but if a third overall pick, Leon Draisaitl, if you can come anywhere close to that kind of talent, he's going to be a phenomenal NHL player. I think Draisaitl's the second best player in the NHL right now. He just won the Hart Trophy, but I think Nathan MacKinnon is the best player. I've said that numerous times. So do you have any info for us on the Detroit? He's a big Detroit fan, so this pick interests him deeply. I think they stay pat and they take. Whoa! Elliot Friedman comes out right now. Word is Detroit is throwing a curveball. All right, this might be the most exciting part of the draft right now.
Are we running the hot rumor, or what are we doing?
We got a hot rumor here.
Hot rumor. Hang on a sec.
Twitter is absolutely blowing up. Eric Engels from Sportsnet saying he thought Perfetti was their guy. It is not. Detroit are picking Lucas Raymond with the 4th overall pick. What are you doing, Steve Yzerman? I could eat my words. Maybe down the road, maybe Lucas Raymond is an awesome player for you down the road. But with a guy like Cole Perfetti, who they said any other year would be a top 2, top 3 pick for sure, which isn't far from 4th, obviously, but it's in the range of a Byfield and Stützle. Any other year, this guy would have been one of the top. He is still a top pick, but is Cole Perfetti now going to go on the slide? They had the Red Wings taking Perfetti at 4. My friend Jeff, if Jeff is online right now, Jeff, if you're online, what do you think about this? Lucas Raymond.
It's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Yeah,
yes,
it is confirmed that they are taking him. So I might as well throw up the pick is in.
It is confirmed. Elliot Friedman first on the report there. So congrats to him. But unreal that they go off the board and they don't take Cole Perfetti, who I had mentioned early on last week that I thought he might be the best player in the draft overall, other than Lafreniere. I did go on record and say that he might be the best player in the entire draft. Obviously, again, other than Lafreniere, he might be the best. But we'll see where he goes now. Who do we have up after Detroit? We have Ottawa at 5. So look at it this way. I believe Perfetti is a center. So Ottawa had to pass on, well, they didn't pass on Byfield. They wanted their franchise center. One just fell into their lap.
You think they'll take him, or you think they'll take Drysdale?
No, I think Ottawa was just handed a gift by the Detroit Red Wings, and you take Cole Perfetti at 5. You've got an elite winger, and now you don't have to force Stützle to play center now. I believe Perfetti's a natural center. Now you can have your 2 franchise. It's your top line. Your one and your center and your right or left winger are just, they basically just got handed to you. Now that Perfetti has dropped, what I don't understand is why didn't Detroit trade this pick?
Yeah.
So if I'm a Detroit fan right now, I'm absolutely livid because they could have got Mason Raymond maybe at, like, I think a lot of people had him out of the top 10. Like, how do you go? Yzerman thinks he's a genius. We do want to send best wishes out to Yzerman, by the way. He was around COVID, so he is actually not at their draft facility right now. He's at home just to keep everybody safe, but he was exposed to somebody that had COVID. He has negative tests so far, but we're seeing some other news here. Oh, they got brand new face announcing the. we got Chris Draper announcing the pick. He's so cute with that new face that Claude Lemieux gave him. But here it is, Lucas Raymond, selected 4th overall by the Red Wings. He's listed as a winger. How did they go and do that? I cannot believe they just made that pick.
Well, maybe this will pan out. I don't know. You know what? Detroit has always liked European players, right? The Russians. Now this is a guy from Sweden here. Like, he's small. He's also small. He's 5'11" and 170 pounds.
Very, very small guy. I'm just seeing what's going on in the world of everybody right now is just in awe. Wow. So with a guy like sorry, I'm befuddled by this pick.
I don't get it either. I don't know why they would have went and done this. Maybe we're actively trying to not make the playoffs.
But up next, Ottawa just had a gift fall in their lap. Parker should be
happy about this.
So Jeff is online. He says this is definitely based on last year. A lot of people were pissed that Detroit took Sider last year, and right now he looks like an absolute stud. Tried to trade down, but couldn't. There's got to be somebody out there that's willing to take the 4th overall pick, Jeff. Especially when a guy like Cole Perfetti's on the board, a franchise center maybe. I don't understand this from Detroit. There's got to be somebody in the 7-8 spot that absolutely would take this pick and give you at least an extra second, early second, or a couple seconds if they have them. That's unbelievable that they had to do this. We did hear rumors early on that Detroit was actually looking at the goaltender as well, so with Askarov. So just a crazy pick to get things started. It didn't take long for the controversy to start.
No.
Jeff, can you tell us where Mason Raymond was centrally scouted? What number he was? I don't have it in front of me right now, but he was definitely not number 4. Just checking on the information coming through the pipeline here. So Parker, with Cole Perfetti falling down to 5, maybe he's the guy that starts to slide now. We've seen this with Zadina a few years ago. Funny at that time that Detroit was the team that actually finally stepped up and took him. But he fell to the 6th spot when he was a consensus number 3 pick. We're waiting to see what happens here. This could get interesting.
They couldn't trade down from 6 last year.
Huh. I don't get it. Like, maybe there's just to sit where they're at because the asking prices are just too high. But up next, we do have Ottawa. Parker, need a center. So, you have to take Cole Perfetti. Cole Perfetti sitting at 5 right now, was the consensus 4 pick forever. Maybe the top ranked guy, other than the top 3, obviously. I don't know what Detroit's thinking here. Jeff says that they jumped up to get this guy. Jeff, do you have his ranking?
He was anywhere from 6 to 9.
Okay, so it's not completely out of the question. I thought he was more 10 to 15. But obviously his draft stock rise or was rising over the last few months. Ottawa Senators, first time picking 5th overall in franchise history.
Whoa. Sens take Jake Sanderson.
The Senators have selected Jake Sanderson with the 5th overall pick. That is confirmed. I'm not seeing it on my end just yet, but can we get some info on Jake Sanderson right now?
I'm just waiting to see if that's actually confirmed there.
I do have it from Corey Pronman. Corey Pronman was the one that just broke the news on the Mason Raymond as well. So I think I will trust him. He works for The Athletic. So the pick is in. The Ottawa Senators do not take Cole Perfetti.
Or Drysdale.
So if I'm a team that needs a center right now, I'm calling Anaheim right now and saying, hey, can we move up? Like if you covet a guy like Cole Perfetti, you're making a phone call right now. You're throwing numerous second-round picks at him to move. I don't think Anaheim will move out of like the top 15. That's when things get a little hairy.
He has amazing IQ, but his skating is not there, so people project him as more of a winger. That cannot be said. You cannot teach IQ. Big Al said that R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen. We talked about that at the beginning of the show.
Rest in peace to Eddie Van Halen early on in the show. We had our little guitar intro when we came in.
Hard rock.
I'm not a big Van Halen fan, but I understand what he meant to the industry. A lot of other guitarists mimicked him and looked up to him. Very sad day for people. 65 years old, cancer.
Yeah, throat cancer.
Yeah. Not cool, man. Why are these people so angry with this guy? Left shot defenseman goes to the Sens at 5. And I thought Ottawa was looking okay on the back end with guys like Shabbat and but we got Jake Sanderson, the first defenseman taken in the draft. Pretty interesting, actually.
I'm
how
far by that too.
How far will Cole Perfetti slide?
Well, even Drysdale. How far will Drysdale slide? Because,
like I said, we're going to see some with these guys' seasons being cut short as well due to COVID. Maybe things didn't play out the way that scouting would have liked. Maybe they had such a smaller sample size to work with this year. With what did they play? Well, there's no playoffs.
No.
So who knows? Maybe things are going to be all wonky this year with the picks. We have Anaheim up next. If I am a team that needs a center, I'm probably calling for Anaheim's pick right now. Anaheim, what do they need? I'm just kind of reading up. It says they're joking, but it says, good to see that Dorian went against Melnick's wishes. Melnick wanted a center. Interesting. David Pagnotta from the fourth period actually sitting right now at 4 for 4 in his picks, and he picked him in June. So how... That's the guy. That's the guy you want to watch his mock draft because.
I mean, don't tune out to go see him. Stay here.
Yeah, definitely hang out with us. But when a guy's 4 for 4 and there's been 2 surprises on the board already, I think he might have an inside. Pretty interesting stuff happening so far. Brandon, what do you think? What are you looking at for with Anaheim right now? Do they keep the pick? Do they pick the best player available?
Yeah, I think they're going to pick the best player available. I think they're going to look at what I think right now they're probably thinking, what the hell just happened, and how did we have 2 players just fall into our lap like this? In terms of thinking what does Anaheim need? That was a good question, and I was actually trying to bring up the next graphic when you were talking about it. Anaheim's got a few needs, I think, right? So, I don't think they can go wrong in picking either one. But, I mean, if you have an opportunity to pick a defenseman that you know is going to be a stud defenseman, you go with the defenseman, right? You're going to have him. You could have a defenseman for like 10 years. And if they're a shutdown D, you got to pick the D. So I'm predicting they're taking Drysdale right now.
They do have them predicted taking Drysdale on NHL.com. Jamie Drysdale going 6. The surprise right now, Perfetti wasn't at 4 on this list either. They had Alexander Holtz, the right winger. So he's still available, obviously. And Lucas Raymond was actually ranked at number 7 on this list. So best players available right now, you're looking at Alexander Holtz, Jamie Drysdale, Marco Rossi, who's also a center. They've got him possibly going to Buffalo. Jack Quinn, right winger, going to Minnesota. Gooley, a defenseman, going to the Jets. The Jets desperately need defensemen. But is it going to help them now? No. So when you get further in the draft, are these players going to help them this year? And that's a no. So Brian Parker, you're saying to the pick of Sanderson. I think down the road that might be a good pick for you. He's the top-ranked defenseman in the draft, maybe with Drysdale.
He's playing right now in Sweden, unlike a lot of other prospects. Oh, that is actually an interesting... So he's not going to have much rust coming into training camp.
So a lot of players ask for permission to play over in Europe, and most of them are granted that. They did announce today that the NCAA will be returning to play in November as well. So if you have players on your team that are NCAA players, they're going to get to play still. I'm just checking to see. I got to follow that guy. He's been right on the money with all his picks so far.
I'm hearing a lot of positive things about Lucas Raymond for Detroit.
At number 6, it is confirmed that Anaheim is taking Jamie Drysdale. We can confirm that now.
The pick is in.
The pick is in. They have taken Jamie Drysdale, another big defenseman in the draft. Another one of the top defensemen anyways. So it looks like New Jersey also possibly in the market for a goaltender as well. Tops on my board right now. New Jersey definitely probably, they've got Mackenzie Blackwood as a young goaltender, but Corey Schneider's done. Does New Jersey step up and take the franchise goaltender, or do they think Mackenzie Blackwood might be the guy? What do you think?
From what I'm hearing about this goaltender, he's like they're comparing him to Carey Price. I know you don't like the idea of comparisons, but they're saying that he is an elite goaltender, like an elite goaltender.
Yes, he's a number 1 goaltender.
Yeah.
Which are very hard to find in the NHL these days. If you notice with a lot of teams, it's a lot of 1A, 1B now. There's not that many head and shoulders number one guys anymore. Probably half the league has a number one.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, right? And again, in the playoffs, you do have a number one, and they get surpassed by the backup because he's playing better. With the case with like Korpisalo and guys like that. Khudobin in Dallas, he wasn't the number one guy going in. So we're just we're waiting on Anaheim being announced right now.
Confirmation.
Here he is, Ducks fans, hometown heroes. Okay, these are just fans that are kind of goofy looking, and they're just cheering for the Ducks, I guess. But anyways, the pick is in. It's Jamie Drysdale.
So we'll take the Ducks off the board.
Jamie Drysdale's off the board as well.
We'll put the Devils up.
This is interesting. This is interesting because sometimes we see a run on defensemen. So defensemen, what do we got here? Oh, that's on the TV. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Just had a hiccup there. Sometimes we do see a run like 4 or 5 defensemen in a row. Teams panic because 2 defensemen go in a row, and then they're like, if I want one, I got to snatch up one of these top 4.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do see a run on defensemen, which might push a guy like Cole Perfetti down out of the top 10, actually. They've actually got him listed as 11 on NHL.com. And I thought he was, he's my guy. He's the guy in this draft. I like him. Because of injuries, I like Henrik Lapierre. I really think he's going to he's going to be the swing for the fences type pick, actually. Blackwood is a stud. It's good to know, Brian. Good to know you got in the stable with him. So who's picking next? New Jersey.
New Jersey's up, so I'll put New Jersey on.
I think New Jersey's got a long shot at maybe picking the goaltender. I don't think they're going to put all their chips on Mackenzie Blackwood.
Jeff, I don't think you can go wrong with Drysdale. I really don't think you can go wrong with him. So I know you're saying you like him a lot. He's got great IQ. He's more of a shooting defenseman, not so much of a quarterback on a power play.
Well, they're comparing him to Cale Makar, so will he be more Cale Makar or Cam Fowler? And the scout said I'd take either one personally. So 22 was points out of 47 on the power play this year coming across the wire. This does probably mean the end for a guy like Cam Fowler in Anaheim, though. Cam Fowler's probably available now. I think he's been quietly available for a while.
Jeff is saying New Jersey needs offense badly. You're right. They can't put everything on Jack Hughes, right?
I think Nico is a pretty good hockey player. I don't think he's going to be a top center, but I think he's definitely a number 2 center on half the teams in the league eventually. But maybe you're right. New Jersey's, I don't know what's up with New Jersey. They just kind of keep spinning their tires. They can pick all these top end prospects in the first round, and it seems like nothing ever comes through.
Well, if you can't develop them and get them into a system that works for them, then yeah, you're right.
Oh, you got a split screen going. I like that.
I'm running a studio, so you can't see what I'm doing on the back end.
I got it. Brandon's doing his professional job tonight. We got New Jersey coming up right now. I'm going to see if we have any info on that just yet. Nothing yet. We've still got... just getting back to the main frame here. The highlight of the draft so far for me was definitely the
Alex Trebek.
Alex Trebek, though. I thought that was amazing. Really nice to see that. Just a lot of people talking about how different this draft is because of the fact that nobody's in the room together. It seems like we've got a little bit of a dull here. If you're the New Jersey Devils and you're looking for offense right now, maybe this pick becomes available. Obviously, there's more centers and wingers available than top-end defensemen right now. If you're a team maybe looking for a defenseman that's still on the board, maybe you move up. If you're a team that wants that goaltender badly, maybe you move up. But like Jeff says, New Jersey needs offense badly. is there that big of a difference between 7 and say 12 if you're picking someone on the offensive side of the game? I think it's pretty comparable. You can still probably get a solid prospect a little bit further down. So maybe New Jersey packages this pick with somebody that's in the middle of the pack. Maybe Toronto moves up. Toronto can give them a second rounder. Maybe Toronto sees a player they like. Maybe Toronto sees a defenseman they like. That's the big thing there. We did say that they were looking at defensemen. But it's interesting. We'll see what happens here. The pick is not in yet, but it is flashing by the looks of it. Is this available? Like, is it... I'm just trying to find a credible source here that has any info. And so far, nothing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either.
Some serious talk about Montreal taking on Laine. But with the addition of Anderson today, I don't think... Well, we did talk about maybe they don't have the cap room to do that now. But I think it really depends on who's sitting available at 16 when Montreal goes to pick. Mark Bergevin has said that 16 pick is available. Obviously, if there's a guy that slips to them like Cole Caulfield did last year, they're going to take that player.
They're taking Alex Holtz.
Alex Holtz.
The Devils are taking Alex Holtz.
So we've got the pick in. It is Alex Holtz.
Right wing from Sweden. Which does fill a need on offense. You're right, Jeff.
Alex Holtz, I believe, was the guy listed to go to Detroit on this. Yeah, Alexander Holtz. Right winger. He was listed to go 4th overall, so he did slide quite a bit. Well, there's a lot of guys listed at 4, so it was kind of like a mismatch. But it looks like the pick is in. We've got Buffalo going next. Buffalo needs probably a little bit of everything. So it's kind of just dealer's choice at this point. Will they take a defenseman? I don't think they're going to take a goaltender.
You got... I don't know. You got Perfetti. You got Marco Rossi. I don't think they're going to take a goaltender either.
There was talk that they weren't happy with the development of their centers. Jack Eichel.
But they're not trading Eichel. They're keeping Eichel, right? They have no intention of trading him.
But if they know he's going to leave when free agency hits,
he's kind of a cancer in the locker room, I hear.
Yes. So, do you draft a center now to kind of
just in case
3 years down the road, when these guys might probably make a serious impact? Do you draft the center right now, and that would be a Marco Rossi, who the NHL.com has him picking anyways. So I could definitely see the Buffalo Sabres taking Marco Rossi right now.
I will put Buffalo on the clock.
We do have Buffalo on the clock now. No trades yet. That's kind of...
Just lost my Buffalo sign. Yeah, I was surprised that there's been no trades yet either. So the only goalie that could go is that Russian goalie.
The Russian goalie will go in the first round, Big Al. He's similar to your Carey Price, Carter Hart. He's a can't-miss goaltender. You can't buy a goaltender like that. The only goaltenders that are currently available that are going to hit free agency seem to be guys that are at the end of the road. So those are very short-term solutions, where this guy is a franchise. He's a franchise goaltender, so he's a long-term solution. How we doing, anyways? Pretty good. We got 8 live viewers right now. I think a lot of people might watch on the replay, obviously. Yep. But thank you to everybody that is tuned in right now. We do appreciate it. They're saying Alexander Holtz, a potential to be a 30-goal scorer. At a 7th overall pick, that's actually pretty good. A lot of now you're getting into guys that would probably slate in the 2-3. Again, it is interesting to talk about that. The percentage of players even drafted in the first round that don't become regular NHLers is just extremely high, and even guys in the top 15 picks. So nothing is for certain. That's why I don't really understand why teams never trade first-round picks. If you have the opportunity to trade, say, the Tampa Bay Lightning right now are looking to shed salary, and Steven Stamkos' name has come up.
Yeah.
If you're a team that badly needs offense and has the cap room, why wouldn't you offer him your first pick? Because you're not going to get it, even if he's on the downgrade and at the twilight of his career.
Thanks, Jeff.
He's probably a 30-goal guy. He's probably a 30-goal guy in a bad year. He still can shoot the puck in power play time. Maybe you can't even draft a guy that's going to have that kind of potential down the road. Obviously, you have to have the cap room to do it, but it's very interesting, anyways, that teams covet the first-round pick so much. I think that's why teams like Pittsburgh and Washington, other teams for years didn't care about their first. Obviously, they're late first-round picks, but they would trade that pick at the deadline to get players that filled in positions that they needed to win a cup.
I'm seeing a lot of speculation right now that says that the goalie, Askarov, goes in the next 2 picks.
The Anaheim Ducks got legit offers on the number 6 overall pick, but weren't going to pass up on Drysdale.
Jeff says, if I know Buffalo, they're going to find a way to mess us up.
Which Jeff?
Jeff Venn.
If I had to guess, Buffalo would take a guy from the NCAA. And he won't play for 3 or 4 years. But, yeah, hearing from... sorry, that was Pierre LeBrun mentioned that... and the pick is in. The Buffalo Sabres have taken Jack Quinn at number 8. That is official. Coming from Corey as well, from The Athletic, or The Athletic. He's been right on the money so far, so we'll take his word for it. Buffalo jumping up to take Jack Quinn. Quinn was rumored to go in between 10 and 15, so they went a little bit early on Jack Quinn. Cole Perfetti continues to slide for a guy that was a consensus fifth or higher pick. When does he get picked? That's interesting. Up next, I believe we have the Minnesota Wild.
We do.
The Minnesota Wild probably looking for a center. They've got pretty good young defense. Minnesota Wild, like I said, this may be where he falls. The Cole Perfetti watch is on. There's always a guy that continues to slide, and for me, he's the guy right now. I would have had him a lot higher, but Buffalo's pick is in with Quinn. Minnesota being next. Minnesota's always dying for offense. I could see Perfetti with Mikko Koivu not being brought back.
Yep.
They need to look at the future for their centers. Maybe that's the guy they take. I'm hearing from Grant McKegg, who writes the Recruits magazine, saying that there's 3 sensational OHL centers still on the board right now. So that's pretty interesting. He wouldn't lie. You got any news over there? I'm working with the TV
Nope.
right now. Something's up here.
I'm just looking.
All right, so what do you guys think so far? Yeah, so Minnesota doesn't have a franchise goalie by any means, but they badly need centers. So they covet the goaltender position right now, or do they think they can get a quick fix with one of the free agents out there? We did see that we did have some insider info that
Jack Quinn isn't a center. Jack Quinn's a right wing.
Yes, but Buffalo took him, not
sorry.
Minnesota. We're talking about what Minnesota's going to
okay.
take next. We're talking right now that the pick is in for Buffalo and it's Jack Quinn. But we're talking about the next pick. We do know Quinn's already gone to Buffalo. If we get to Winnipeg, we know Winnipeg doesn't need a goaltender with Connor Hellebuck playing net. So I'm thinking Cole Perfetti or the goaltender go to Minnesota right now. We'll wait to see, because the goaltender's going to... If the goaltender continues to slide as well, I don't think he gets past Carolina at 13, I think it is.
No. Carolina will take him for sure.
So
and that's right around where I think a lot of teams had him. They had him as high as 9, but you're figuring between the 9 and 13 range if he goes that low.
But yes, I was saying that Grant McKegg, 3 sensational OHL forwards still on the board right now. Grant McKegg is the one that writes the Recruits magazine. He's one of the forefront on the minors, for the minor leagues and the development. Former NHL scout.
Is that Jack Quinn's girlfriend or his sister?
Let's hope his girlfriend.
Yeah, no kidding. That is a short dress.
There are rumors out of Montreal right now that Montreal is trying to move up to the 9 pick to take Cole Perfetti. Montreal has a plethora of second-round picks that they could use to sweeten the pot, and Minnesota wouldn't be moving down as far. Maybe Minnesota sees a guy that they can pick at 15 still, but Marc-Antoine Gaudin from RDS is saying that Montreal desperately wants to move up right now to take either Perfetti, Askarov, or Seth Jarvis.
I saw Seth Jarvis's name come up too, but Marco Rossi, they could take Marco Rossi too.
I think they're swinging for the fences. But why would Montreal take Askarov with Carey Price?
I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, they did this with Jose Theodore as well. They took Carey Price at 5 overall when Jose Theodore had just won the MVP award. So I guess you grab your franchise goalie when you have the shot to do it. It would give Askarov maybe a couple years to learn under Carey Price, and then that's interesting.
It would be interesting.
That is interesting. Montreal always been a hotbed for the elite goaltenders in the league. Well, obviously starting with guys like, the ones you remember, Plante, obviously Hainsworth was before that, but Plante, all these guys, Patrick Waugh, Gump Worsley, Kenny Dryden in the 60s or the 70s, and they've been a hotbed for the greatest goaltenders in the NHL. Do they take Askarov? I think that would be a completely shocking move for them to do that, but I wouldn't put it past. What does Gary the Tiger think? Gary the Tiger thinks that everything is terrific. Everybody thinks they're funny, but anyways, what do we see in here?
I got word that Minnesota is likely to take Marco Rossi.
Okay. Grant McKegg saying that Minnesota might take a goaltender here. So it's interesting. All the Montreal media, because I do follow quite a few of them, saying that if Montreal hadn't qualified for the round of the playoffs there, they would have been picking for Cole Perfetti right now. So it's kind of interesting that stuff like that happens, and they said they're not going to lie, that does sting quite a bit, but it is what it is. But who knows? He may continue to fall to your spots. Cole Caulfield did last year, who was a consensus top 10 pick. Fell to 16 to them. The Minnesota Wild are taking Marco Rossi. You're right. It is in. So the pick is definitely in, even though we're at commercial right now with the programming. Marco Rossi heading to the Minnesota Wild. Interesting. They have this does open things up completely. We've got I
think you're going to start seeing trades now. I think trades are going to start happening.
The Winnipeg Jets are currently sitting at 10. The Winnipeg Jets are in desperate need for defensemen going forward. So I really think the Winnipeg Jets right now take a defenseman, the best defenseman on the board. So we're looking at Caden Gooley, I believe it is. Cole Perfetti's off the board. Seth Jarvis, the Florida Panthers, they have Bobrovsky, so the goaltender doesn't go there.
Nope.
Askarov is the top goaltender. You have to think that the Edmonton Oilers take Cole Perfetti before he's, as it sits right now, I've got Cole Perfetti probably dropping to at least 14. I don't have, unless Winnipeg just shits the bed and takes a forward for some reason. They don't need goaltending. They desperately need to bulk up their defense for the future. They don't have anybody really. So, but with Marco Rossi going, you're gonna see some serious players start to drop here. I don't think Cole Perfetti makes it past Edmonton or Toronto. So I think if you want a Cole Perfetti, you got to move up right now to grab him. But a lot of people out there are saying that this is the shock of the draft.
Jeff is saying that Perfetti won't get past Nashville, and the Preds are up after Winnipeg, right? So.
Oh, I must have missed them. Sorry.
Yep.
Nashville. Oh, so NHL.com does have Nashville taking them. So yeah, that looks like where he's going to go. But that leaves Seth Jarvis and a few other guys on the board. You will see guys start to slip now. The goaltender's got to go in the next 3 or 4 picks, I would think, or he's not going to go.
Yeah, I can't see him going. Like, he's got to go. I mean,
does Toronto take him?
Maybe. I said that yesterday during Out of Bounds.
Does Toronto step up and take an Askarov?
I said that yesterday during Out of Bounds, right?
Yeah,
I know that they said that they weren't going to move. Dubas said that they were not going to move Frederik Andersen. What about Chicago? Would Chicago take a goalie?
Chicago's not due up though. They're where are they at? Chicago's sitting at 17 right now.
Oh, I can't see him falling that far. Carolina. Jeff is saying Carolina will take the goalie.
Who knows, Jeff?
Are you on the phone right now with Carolina to trade up and say, look, we know you need a goalie. We'll trade up with you. Give us another pick on the back end.
Yeah, if Carolina knows that they need this goaltender, are they calling a team like? Well, there's no threats there. Winnipeg's not going to take him. Nashville's not going to take him. Who's sitting at 12? Who's got the 12th pick? That's what we need to know. Florida's not going to take him with Bobrovsky. They got him signed for quite a while. But so you're looking at the most realistic place for him is definitely going to be Carolina. Maybe they go off the board. Maybe they don't want a goaltender. Maybe they think they can buy one.
Nothing would be funnier than Carolina taking a goalie with the first round pick they got from the Leafs. All right, we are back right on time here.
Is this guy like 4 feet tall?
Yeah, he looks pretty short here.
Wow.
Like, pretty short.
Marco Rossi, what are the stats on this guy? He's like a parkour.
Look at the balance on that guy, though.
Who cares? It's not going to mean much when a guy
They're comparing him to a Claude Giroux.
A Claude Giroux?
Yeah. God, he's still got spots in his face.
Look how small he is. Wow, just a very short player, though.
5'9", yeah.
5'9"?
Which, I mean, is pretty average, right? Like, I mean, you're getting to an average for a forward.
What are we looking at here? You got any news for me?
No, I'm looking.
Just seeing what's going on here.
It's crazy to flip through all this news and try to pick out what you're actually seeing here.
All right, sorry for the dead air there. We are trying to get back on things. Marco Rossi had more points than Lafreniere this year. We missed some comments there, Jeff. It's what was that?
Oh, he was just talking about stressing, talking about stress relief. That's all it was.
Oh,
Nothing vital to the show. Just a little banter back and forth between the fellas.
Winnipeg has not taken a defenseman. Winnipeg has drafted Cole Perfetti. They kind of go off the board a little bit with this. It's definitely not what they need. Winnipeg does have centers. They do have wingers. Very interesting, though. Very, very interesting.
With them, the pick is in.
The pick is in for Winnipeg. We can confirm that. Cole Perfetti. Does this now mean that Patrick Laine is gone?
I would assume so.
So now things get very, very interesting with a high level elite forward coming into the mix. Do they move Patrick Laine for help on defense? They definitely do not need any more centers with Connor, with Scheifele. They've already got their top two centers there. They have good wingers there with Blake Wheeler. They've had quite a few good wingers. What are they doing? They're obviously going to move somebody out of their top six to make room for this Perfetti. Maybe it doesn't happen right away, but definitely probably through the year and trade deadline for sure, especially if they're struggling again. But they need help on the back end. Maybe they think they can get that help with a current roster player by trading a guy like Laine. He's been rumored to go to teams such as Carolina. We've got other teams involved. Carolina's pick is coming up fairly soon. Maybe that pick's in play for a guy like Patrick Laine now. We are going to see. It's very interesting. Everything's coming up. Just very interesting. That's all I can say.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more moves.
I'm just reading from some of the Francois Gagnon from the RDS says the more that the selection, like this is translated from Twitter, the more selections pass, the more the CH Montreal will have to resign himself from taking advantage of the 16th selection to add instead of trading for help now. With such good players continuing to slide down the board, they might be forced to take one of these players rather than trade that pick. That's what he's saying. It's just a rough translation, though. It's a little bit hard to understand. But either way, we're going to see. Either way, we're going to see a very good player. Very touching moment right now. Crystal Hawerchuk is the one announcing the pick. Wife of the late Dale Hawerchuk. So it's kind of a nice thing for the team to reach out and have her do that for them. Obviously, we don't have the sound on right now, but pretty nice moment for fans of Winnipeg for sure. Grant McKegg says that he thinks that Nashville will take Askarov at the goaltending position. Pekka Rinne's in the twilight of his years. Soros, is he going to be a starter? We don't know. I think you might be right, Jeff, with teams not wanting to miss a guy, but they got the Upper Deck logo in behind them there. I think it might be something along the lines of the fact that it is a deep draft. So I think once a first round pick does become available, you can ask for whatever you want. So obviously teams are more apt to trade the middle to late round first round picks, but with good players still on the board, that means the return is going to be that much more for those teams as well. If I'm sitting there and if you're reaching for a guy, if you're reaching for a pick, maybe you don't make that pick. You're looking to swing for the fence type thing with a guy like Henrik Lapierre or maybe another guy like a Mercer, guys that are ranked 15 to 25 type thing. Maybe you don't make that pick. Maybe you move down and just take what you can get at that spot and acquire more picks. Or maybe you make that first round pick available for a bona fide NHL star. And I think that's what teams have to look for right now. You either want the help now or you want it in 2-3 years. There are teams that do have. This is Cole Perfetti.
Yeah, he's doing a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
He looks really young.
Interesting. That's the word for the draft so far. Very interesting.
Do you think that this was a best available pick?
I think
a selection for best available?
I think Winnipeg changed their tune when he became available. Because I cannot see Winnipeg not taking a defenseman there. Winnipeg desperately needs defensemen in their system. Why didn't... I think it was just a gift that fell into their lap type thing. We've got Nashville next on the board. We're just waiting for the pick to come in.
I know there was talk about Perfetti's skating. I wonder if they can use him as a bargaining chip to trade.
Elliot Friedman also reporting right now that there were rumblings today that Nashville would take the goaltender. So I think the goalie's coming off the board right now, unless there's a guy that slid to them that they didn't think would be available. But if they were talking earlier about the goaltending, I think... what are we saying here? Jeff, what do you mean by some EEY? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Good to see we still have quite a few live viewers on board. Just maybe you're just listening along. If you are watching, definitely say hello. Let us know you're here. We can't see who's watching right now, but we have a good idea. But just say hi, and also give us the
yes,
give us the thumbs up. We are nearing the midway of the first round. I think it's going by fairly quick, actually.
I like the idea of the 5 minutes between.
The 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So beyond Sanderson and Drysdale, there's a big drop off when it comes to defensemen.
Jeff was supposed to be live on the program tonight, but he bailed on us. Not the nicest thing, but he is our... We like to call him our... what's his name? The monster guy there. Pierre Maguire. He's Pierre Maguire reincarnated.
So I'm just looking at like a mock draft, and it looks like the next defenseman to go, Braden Schneider. But they got him way down. They got him in the 20s. We're looking at a lot of centers and wingers coming up here.
Darren Drager right now reporting that Winnipeg had a ton of offers to move down, but when they had the chance to take Cole Perfetti, they took him. A lot of teams are calling right now to move up in the draft, and it is official. The goaltender goes to Nashville. Askarov has been drafted by the Nashville Predators. So now what does Carolina do? We figured Carolina would be the next team up to possibly pick him. What does Carolina do now? They're pretty stocked on the defensive side. They've got a pretty good team. Goaltending was probably their most glaring issue for a young goaltender. Tons of offense there with Svechnikov and Aho and all those guys.
You better work hard, Brian. I don't know if that's going to happen, buddy.
Yeah, Brian, I don't think you're ever going to flex with us. You're sitting in the squad car all day eating donuts. But they're talking to Jamie Drysdale right now. We got a fly in the room. What's going on here? Things kind of open up now. It's kind of going to be all over the place. The goaltender going off the board, that really opens things up. That was the big question mark. Who would take him? But it is Nashville Predators that do take the goaltender. Kind of interesting. So they honestly don't believe that Pekka Rinne is going to be there much longer, and they probably don't believe that Jari Saros or whatever his name is
the answer. Yeah.
So Askarov, this is kind of like a Merzlikin / situation too.
I think they got a steal for him to drop that far. Like, they were really highly touting this guy, like saying that he should have been a top 10 pick. What do we got up next on the clock? Florida?
Still a ton of rumblings right now about Montreal and Laine still to this minute. If there's that kind of rumbling going on with Montreal's pick coming up in the next 5 picks, Where there's smoke, there's fire. They're talking right now, and I guarantee you that. How does Montreal afford him, though? Currently, they have just over $10 million in salary. Obviously, there'd have to be a little bit of salary going the other way, but the first overall pick would definitely be involved. That's why this needs to get done right now. But we've got members from RDS and other news, The Athletic, also reporting on it right now that they're still talking. Things are getting very interesting. Just crazy.
So it makes it so fun, though, right?
There were rumors that when Montreal did call about Line A, the first ask was Romanov, and that was kind of the end of the conversation. But now when it becomes a reality, maybe Bergevin says we want to win now, and with the signing of an Edmondson, maybe they've got a guy that can fill in. Maybe they don't need, well, they always need guys like Romanov, but they've got a lot of young defensemen coming through the pipeline. Not as good as Romanov, but are you going to get a 40-goal guy any other time? That's the thing. If you have a chance to pick up a 40-goal guy, you really have to take that swing at the fence. Because as we've seen, free agents they don't seem to want to come to Montreal, so you have to trade for them. Winnipeg does need help now. With that 15th pick, they would probably take a defenseman, and a defenseman would be needed in the trade as well. That's why we're talking Romanov, and then probably one of Montreal's top prospects, not Cole Perfetti, I wish, but Cole Caulfield, or I think Montreal would try and stay away from trading him, but a Ryan Poehling, and then maybe multiple picks as well. It's very interesting that they're still talking about it. We're only 4 or 5 picks away. I think that means that things are still being talked about. With Askarov not being available now, will Marc Bergevin pull the trigger on a trade? Literally, Twitter is blowing up right now. So many questions.
It's tough to root out who are the people to believe and who's not, though. A lot of speculation.
Well,
on
these
Twitter.
are all reputable sources, right? So.
So, what do you think is going to happen with Rene then? You think they're going to try to package him and get him out, or you think because they're going to keep Soros?
Sorry, I'm just getting.
Or do they let Askarov play behind Pekka Rene for a little bit, just to get some experience?
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, just trying to catch up on some comments here. We have Florida up next.
Yep.
No word on the pick yet. Too many things coming through right now. I might have missed it. But out in comment land, what do you guys think of the draft so far? What are the surprises?
Askarov may not come over for a few years. Yeah, I can see that.
And will they have to pay to get him here? A lot of times when they're playing for Russian clubs, they require a payment to get them. The Florida Panthers have selected Anton Lundell.
Yeah.
You're following the same guy.
I got the same guy.
Yep. Just came in, Anton Lundell, another name off the board. So still sitting there. Caden Gooley, the top-ranked defenseman, left. Seth Jarvis still available. Who did they take? Lundell?
Lundell, yeah.
Lundell wasn't scheduled on NHL.com until 17th. So the Florida Panthers jumped the gun just a little bit here. Take him roughly 5 picks ahead of where he was scheduled to go. Sorry, I'm just throwing up on air here. Up next, I believe we have Carolina. So Carolina, it's probably best player available at this time. They were probably one of the front runners for goaltender, but pretty strong on defense, pretty strong in the forward position. Not a ton of holes. Just waiting for players to develop and get a little bit older and be that much better. Jeff, what do you think about the Carolina Hurricanes? Who do you have them taking right now? Alex Kurlik's just agreeing that we all know about having to pay players to get them out of Russia. Alex, being a Red Wing fan, he's talking about the Russian Five in Detroit. So Anton Lundell, center from Finland. I love his birthplace, Espoo. Look at that birthplace, Espoo, Finland.
Espoo.
Not a bad sized guy, 6'1", 185. Probably step in maybe in a year. Maybe again with the Finns, the 2 years minimum service in the military. If he's already done that, he doesn't have to worry about it. But yeah, 18 years old still, so he's probably still growing. If he was 200 pounds, he could probably play today. Left-handed shot. Interesting. They go. Is this kind of like a Barkov situation where they knew this guy was going to be real good? They jumped up to get him. The Finns are turning out a ton of really good high-end players. So maybe this is one of the maybe they knew somebody ahead of them was thinking about taking them, or somebody, they had to get them if they couldn't move down, kind of thing. Sorry about the dead air. I'm just reading up on what's going on right now. So Hendrix Lapierre being available still, Dalton Mercer as well. Seth Jarvis still on the board. So you have three really good offensive prospects still on the board for the three Canadian teams. So they're all available. All three Canadian teams right now are going to end up with a top-end forward. Guys that project to be top two line players anyways. So we're going to see what happens in the next 20 minutes or so. Jeff thinks they're going to draft Gooley, the best defenseman still on the board. I forgot that Carolina's still up, so a lot of people have Jarvis going to Edmonton. Very interesting that there hasn't been a single trade yet.
Yeah, not a single one.
Well,
you said it either wasn't going to happen, or is going to be like a waterfall of trades that happened.
But we thought with the with the cap issue right now, with the cap not moving for 2 years, I think that's handcuffing a lot of teams. Yeah. I think the second day of the draft is usually where you see the majority of the trades go down anyways. You see a lot of decent hockey players get traded for second round picks. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that guys slide and teams see a guy in the middle to late second round that they really still have interest in, and then they move a contract basically for a second round pick. Any more interesting things going on that you can see?
Nope, I am flipping through here.
So very interesting. Anyways, we have a flurry of Canadian teams coming up here. Apron Basu from, I believe he is from The Athletic as well. He thinks that the number 16 pick is definitely in play. Will Gary Bettman have his first trade to announce? A lot of people are saying no, take the player available, best player available. A lot of people are saying. I'm just reading here to see if any picks have come through. Nothing as of right now. So a very, I'm not going to say boring night as far as trades. Some very interesting picks with Detroit kind of throwing everything for a loop there.
Carolina, 13th overall pick, select Seth Jarvis.
So Seth Jarvis is off the board. I would have to think that the Leafs might draft a defenseman. That's probably what they should do.
I think they should do that.
With Gooley, but it really depends on who's available. Honestly, a lot of people thought Seth Jarvis was going to go to the Edmonton Oilers. So Edmonton maybe now... Seth Jarvis's living room appears to be on fire. That's kind of interesting. Kind of weird that Carolina was going to take the best player available, especially with the fact that they're pretty much loaded everywhere else anyways. A goalie is what they actually needed for the future, but...
There's a lot of free agent goalies that will be coming available. Who do you think they'll take now? If they can't get, since they didn't get Askarmov, who do you think they'll get?
I think Carolina's got to go out and get like a bona fide...
Who's available?
Well, we heard that. Well, they're not going to trade for one when there's so many available for free.
Yeah.
Do they have the cap space, or do they want to spend the money on a goaltender?
Well, it's going to take Andre Fleury off the board because his contract is way too high.
Yeah, they said is his living room on fire. The camera kind of went a little wonky there with the Seth Jarvis announcement. But anyways, so Seth Jarvis, very popular forward. Just
you think Corey Crawford, eh? Corey Crawford?
I don't think Corey Crawford's going to take him to the promised land, though. That's a problem. I think I don't think there's a goalie on the free agent market right now that can win a Stanley Cup. That's what I'm going to say. I don't think there's a goalie on the free agent market that's going to put you over the top.
That's a fair assessment, I think.
Lundqvist,
there's good goalies out there.
Lundqvist is obviously past his prime. Corey Crawford, I believe, is as well. Obviously, Marc-Andre Fleury. Probably your best your best bet right now to at least get you in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe I'm calling Columbus right now and asking for one of their two goaltenders. They did well to get because Merzlikins is the goalie of the future. Maybe Korpisalo's available. Maybe Freddie Anderson goes there. Obviously, there had been rumblings that Freddie Anderson was maybe going there they wanted Dougie Hamilton. That deal got squashed. But maybe they can work something out where maybe it's not Dougie Hamilton but somebody else. And then maybe Toronto buys a goaltender to fill in that need for them. But we got Edmonton on the board right now. Edmonton, I think if I'm Edmonton right now, well, we know they need wingers to play with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yep.
But these guys might not be ready in time. At this point in the game right now, at this point in the draft, they might not be ready for 2-3 years, maybe 4 years. Edmonton needs wingers. I just mentioned that, Jeff. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But anyways, do they take a winger, or they also need defense, Jeff? So maybe they take a defenseman. Again, we're talking about. Just a lot of guys are upset about the Seth Jarvis pick. A lot of the Montreal media was hoping Seth Jarvis would fall. So this is the bulk of the Canadian teams right now. We've got Oilers, Leafs, Canadiens coming up in 14, 15, 16. David Pagnotta is saying that every team all three of these teams were willing to move their pick, to move down, or for a player that could help now. And none of these teams have been successful to do that yet. That's kind of interesting that nobody wants these mid-round picks with such good players still on the board. Especially in a cap era where maybe the demands are just a little too high on what's coming back for these first round picks. I think maybe a first round pick is more desirable at the trade deadline than it is on draft day. Because players might not be available anymore that a team really wanted. But we're just waiting for the Edmonton pick right now. I ran out of tea, so
Oh, you fading? Maybe you need another burger.
yeah. A nice comparison here. Seth Jarvis at 13. So many similarities to a Braden Point. Both arguably the best player in the WHL in their draft years. So it's kind of I think they're hoping to strike gold with a Braden Point type player there. I love it. I got into an argument today. It's been an ongoing argument since the Tampa Bay Lightning won the cup. Actually,
with a kid again.
With that kid, yeah.
Kid.
And it came out today that the only 4 players on the Tampa Bay Lightning that were untouchable, Victor Hedman, Kucherov, Braden Point, and Vasilevsky. And I was telling this kid that don't be surprised if Steven Stamkos gets traded. They didn't need him to win the Stanley Cup. He played 2 minutes and 17 seconds, but he scored a great goal. Okay, so I brought an analogy out yesterday where I said that goal almost felt to me like when a high school team has a senior that worked in the
like Rudy.
Yeah, like Rudy. They threw him on the field for one play at the end just so he could.
He was like a Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah, Make-A-Wish kid. So nothing wrong with Make-A-Wish, obviously.
No. What they do is amazing.
Yes, but I think Steven Stamkos got on the ice as his Make-A-Wish so he could be part of it, and that was it. They do not need Steven Stamkos on that team. What would benefit that team right now is $8 million coming off the books. Edmonton has jumped Dylan Holloway. So Dylan Holloway was projected close to 20. Dylan Holloway goes a little bit early. Pretty good pick for them. Their pick was in play.
I know they were looking at trying to get rid of it.
Everybody right now is saying that their pick was 100% in play.
I'm really excited to see what happens with the next pick. I want to see how many people freak out with the pick that that Toronto picks.
I'm just trying to find here where the NHL.com had Dylan Holloway going. I'm not finding him here. What's going on? Dylan Holloway wasn't a first-round pick on the NHL.com's. That can't be true. I'm not seeing him here. Yeah, so I'm not seeing Dylan Holloway on a lot of lists right now. I think Edmonton really jumped up to grab him. I'm going to see if I can find something else maybe, but I'm not seeing him on the NHL.com Meltzer's draft list for sure. I was just looking at mock drafts here.
He's a center. Played in Wisconsin.
So he plays with Cole Caulfield then. That's going to help his draft stock, obviously, because Cole Caulfield is a 40-50 goal guy. So Dylan, he is the beneficiary of having played with who went 4th overall. Jeff played for Wisconsin. I'm just the name is not coming to me right now, but there was 2 Wisconsin picks last year and 1 this year. Their entire line basically just got drafted. I'm just trying to find out where he is on some of these lists right now.
He's saying Turcotte.
Yes, Turcotte. That's right. Was he 4th overall last year, I believe? Dylan Holloway, the first list I have found him on, they had him ranked at 26, going late in the first round to the St. Louis Blues. So this is a very interesting pick. It's also very interesting that he's a center since Edmonton does have 2 centers already, obviously. So I think Dylan Holloway will probably be moved to a wing
To a
position.
wing, yeah.
Yeah, Turcotte, LA Kings, I believe, right? Very, very interesting. Up next, a lot of you have been waiting for it.
It's a lot of work keeping up with these fonts and graphics and.
So up next, a lot of people. Yeah, we appreciate what you're doing.
Plus, my fingers are getting sore, flicking on the phone and then looking for this.
As of right now, I gotta believe that the Maple Leafs are going to draft a defenseman.
Best defenseman available is Gooley.
I gotta think that.
And then Schneider after that?
Yeah, I gotta think Gooley. A lot of people. I'm not seeing anything with the Leafs right now.
Jeff says the Leafs will probably take a forward.
Looks like Gooley to the Leafs. It's not confirmed yet, though. It is definitely not going to be Schneider, though. Grant McKegg is reporting that it looks like Gooley to the Leafs. He's the recruits. He thinks that Gooley's probably going to be the pick, but it's just opinion. Nothing official yet.
Nope.
It looks like the pick might be in play, too. That's what I'm reading here.
They don't have a lot of time left.
They can call a timeout. It doesn't look like they're doing anything in the war room there.
So you think they already know who they're picking?
I think Jeff, if I had my pick, who Montreal is going to take if they keep their pick, I really like Henrik Lapierre. He's a French guy. I think the fans will accept him. He had serious concussion issues, but they say he's either going to be a home run or they said he was a top 10 talent with injury problems.
I still see nothing.
So that's worth noting. It doesn't look like they're ready to make a pick. They're obviously still discussing here.
Yeah.
We got pictures live in the war room here. 55 seconds left on the clock as far as I see it. I believe Toronto's going to trade this pick. They're looking for a defenseman. Maybe they can make an NHL-ready defenseman. But the problem is they don't have...
With the 15th overall pick, the Toronto Maple Leafs select Rodion Amirov, left wing in the KHL.
They take the top-ranked Russian skater. I actually forgot about him. They thought he was going to be a late first-round pick because they don't know if they can get him over to North America. Toronto maybe just blew their pick.
But Jeff, you were right. They picked a left winger.
Yeah, so Toronto taking
Rodion
Amirov from Russia. Very interesting. I didn't think they would take a forward, but he is the top-ranked Russian player other than the goalie.
Typical Leafs, never filling needs. Plan the route, buddy. Plan the route.
Look how cute Mitch Marner is. Who's the creepy dude behind him?
Look at that stash.
That's Morgan Riley.
Yeah. Look at. Do I hold the jersey up now?
6 foot tall, 177 pounds. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with these guys. It's just one of those things. Will he want to play in North America with the KHL? 1920 stats. He played 21 games and had 0 goals and 2 assists. That's playing against men, obviously. He is an unrestricted free agent from Russia. I don't understand. Maybe why they didn't just. Well, he was going to get drafted. They figured they want his rights. So crazy stuff going on right now. And we're hearing it all over the place. And Toronto drafts a skilled forward because they didn't have any of those. I'm hearing that the Montreal Canadiens are drafting the defenseman Caden Gooley. Just came across the wire from Tony Mariano at TSN.
That's pretty fast. They made that decision pretty quick.
That is the pick by the looks of it. So they just took the best player available, I believe. Kind of interesting, actually. Eric Engels is only reporting right now that they're keeping the 16th pick. They were still taking calls on it. But we do have one report saying they're taking the defenseman. So we'll see if he's right. He might just be trying to be first to the...
Yeah, beat the punch. Maybe playing probabilities. Now, as a Montreal guy, how do you feel about that? Taking a D-man?
Bergevin is already standing at the podium. He's ready to make his pick. Obviously, he's just being held up by the television broadcast right now. So they are obviously excited to make this pick, and they knew who they were going to take regardless. So I was hoping for Henrik Lapierre, but it looks like they might be going with the defenseman. I'm never excited to draft defensemen, to be honest with you.
And why is that?
I just think I think NHL defensemen, if they're not like basically if they're not in the top 10, they're definitely guys that need work. They're not ready to step in right away. It just takes a lot longer for defensemen to mature. So you're thinking 3-4 years out when you pick these guys for sure. But it looks like Bergevin's losing patience right now, waiting to make his pick. But if they are drafting the best player available, it is definitely Gooley, the defenseman. And how cool would it be, the ghost of the Montreal Forum, have a Gooley skating around? He could literally be the new ghost. But this is ridiculous, right? This is why we have to wait so long with these picks. Bergevin's been standing at the podium for 2.5 minutes now, and we're waiting for TV to wrap up so he can make his pick. That's why things take so long. What do you think of Montreal possibly taking Gooley, Jeff?
Whoever's producing the show, they went back to.
He's been standing there for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but they took him off there for a second. Like they were like, okay, let's put a graphic up and let's get rid of him.
Oh, he's got a phone. Hold on, he's got a phone call. He might get pulled away from the podium. Somebody's in his ear right now. This is fun. They do take the defenseman. That's being reported by David Pagnotta right now. So Gooley will be the Montreal's pick. Defenseman. So we'll get some info on that. Kind of going off the board a little bit. I know he was the best ranked player still on the board, but that's the guy right there that I would have took, Henrik Lapierre. But if Lapierre continues to fall, they can jump up and grab him with offer up somebody with some extra second-round picks. Interesting. As you guys remember, the draft was supposed to be held in Montreal this year. With COVID, obviously, they're not having it live in an arena. But the league did state that they would be bringing the draft back to Montreal as soon as they could. It is scheduled for Minnesota next year, I believe, or one of those cities. So, as of right now, Caden Gooley, 6'2" defenseman from the WHL. 40 points.
Yeah, not bad stats.
Sounds like a power play quarterback type guy. pretty interesting. Left defenseman, that's a need for them. Maybe they think this guy can step in the next year or two. That would make life easier on them for sure. They're pretty stacked up on the right side, but not the greatest on the left right now. Actually, with Romanov, this gets interesting because if you draft a guy like this, a left defenseman, do they need Romanov now? Like, they could trade either of these guys, right?
Yeah.
So if Romanov is NHL ready right now, and that's who the Winnipeg Jets desire, maybe
this is your chance to get him.
This is your chance to get him, yeah. Maybe now Romanov's available. I don't know if they're mentioning that right now, but if they think Caden Gooley might be NHL ready, his size definitely looks like he might be, especially by the time the NHL does get started next year with a late start. Top 4 defenseman is his NHL potential. Offensive defenseman. Looks like they compare him to Colton Parayko, who's a big defenseman, a good defenseman. Yeah, he was the 11th ranked prospect on the board basically, and he dropped to 16. Kind of upset they didn't take the chance with the French kid, with Lapierre being a fan, but who knows? This kid might be the real deal. Who do we have up next?
Chicago's on the board.
We got Chicago on the board next. Kind of an interesting pick for Montreal. Just trying to find if there's any rumblings here by any means. It is being reported, though, that there's a lot of technical difficulties right now because everybody's not in the room together. It seems like
you think trades could have been taking place,
but trades are being held up due to the fact that it's just not as easy to get a hold of people.
So do you think that will turn into a busy day tomorrow?
Yeah, that's what they're saying right now.
It is.
That's quite the pick. Sorry, we're just catching up on comments right now. The best case scenario, they have Gooley starting in Montreal within 2 years. He won't be as long to develop. He's almost NHL ready.
Gooley's on the record comparing himself to Drew Doughty.
That's pretty.
That's pretty lofty.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty ballsy,
Yeah,
actually.
pretty
If you
lofty.
compare yourself to Drew Doughty, probably one of the best defensemen of a generation.
Yeah.
So they're saying top 4 defensemen. Those are not easy to come by in the NHL. So the defense looks good in Montreal in the future. They've got Jeff Petrie for a while. Romanov on left D, obviously coming this year. Gooley as early as the next year. Going to be tough to play against, probably. Some puck moving defensemen too. So
They'd be a good team to watch.
they definitely have some things in the cupboard with Cole Caulfield, with Ryan Poehling being USA's best player in the last few years at the World Juniors. Won Junior MVP, I believe, one year. Yeah, so they've got some guys in the cupboard that they don't need to rush by any means. Interesting trade today to get a little bit bigger. Kyle Dubas currently talking on the television right now. They're probably talking about taking the Russian. Some pretty good players still available. We got Henrik Lapierre. We've got Dalton Mercer. We've got quite a few guys that are kind of sliding down the board right now. Maybe now teams get the urge to start moving around with their picks. If a guy's still available, maybe they move up to grab one. It's interesting. There's a few teams that still have 2 picks left in the first round. So maybe one of those teams actually shed one of those picks for moving down into the second for multiple picks. It's interesting. There's still a lot to come. Does Ottawa need another first round pick? That's where I'm looking at right now.
Well, they're the 28th pick. Yeah.
I believe New Jersey also has numerous picks left. They're after Chicago right now. New Jersey's sitting at 18 and 20, and we do remember that they also had a pick earlier in the draft as well.
Pick is in. 17th overall pick. Chicago picks Lukas Reichel.
Lukas Reichel. So
left wing.
Yep. So Lukas Reichel's name was also on the board, obviously. So guys continue to slide. Dalton Mercer. Wouldn't it be something if they got them both, New Jersey? Calgary, you think, has to draft some offense here. There are rumors in Calgary that they will be moving on from players such as Johnny Gaudreau fairly soon. Who's the security guy here watching? Who is that?
I have no idea. I can see a lot of glare on his face.
Who's standing next to Stan Bowman here waiting to make the pick? Interesting. Huh. Stranger danger. All right, so...
oh, there he is. Jamal Cannon, Blackhawks special guest.
All right, so we don't know who it is because the arm's stuck. Stan, help him out. There you go. Lukas Reichel from, really small. He's 6 foot, but 170.
Yeah.
Very, very skinny dude. Any relation to Warren Reichel? Does anybody know?
I'm going to guess no.
Might be his son. I'm just trying to see. Amarov was listed at 21 on this, so the Maple Leafs kind of jumped up to grab him. Gooley, who was just selected, was listed at 19 on this list. Jacob Perreault still available. Maverick Bourque, center. Connor Zary. Still Braden Schneider if you're looking for a defenseman. He's got to be the next one off the board. Dalton Mercer, obviously.
I think Braden Schneider's the only one that's left in the top 30 as a defenseman, is he not?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other D that are listed in the first round.
But Lukas Reichel was quite a ways down on this list, I believe. One of my favorite names in the draft from the Swiss League, Noel Gunler. Lukas Reichel actually not on the list at all. He was slated to go to 29 at Vegas. So they definitely maybe pulled the trigger a little soon here.
Elite Prospects is saying this is a collection of skills, but the piece of clay needs some serious molding.
Yeah, so he needs some fine tuning by the sounds of it. Ooh, the Germans! The Germans are coming. Yeah, so Jeff says that there were talk of Reichel actually sliding into the second round, comparable to Mike Hoffman. So a goal scorer. Very, very small guy, though. Middle six forward, which what they mean by that is he's going to be a second or third line player. Obviously, sitting at the, what was that, the 17th pick? 17th pick, you're probably looking to find a guy that's going to fill in your top 2 lines and top 4 defensemen. Not third liners at this point. If you have a guy fitting in as a third line player, it's probably best to actually pass on that player and maybe go for the home run with a guy that a guy like Henrik Lapierre or Dalton Mercer that are possible top 6 forwards that maybe dealt with injuries or just fell in the draft a bit. Yeah, I think he's the guy that might make a lot of noise. Jeff's saying that if there were people out there calling New Jersey right now, maybe to acquire that pick. Yeah, but what's it going to take to get 18? I think New Jersey would more be opt to sell off their 20th pick. That way they get their first pick at who they want. and then because if they sell out 20 or sell out 18 right now or trade off 18,
There's no guarantee.
there's no guarantees that the guy they
18
want
would have
is
been
at
there.
20.
Yeah.
Especially if they wanted two guys.
Yeah, and you would have thought that they've had enough time to work on this now to have an understanding
yeah,
about
so
who they want.
Yeah.
I mean, there has not been a significant amount of surprises in here. Like, no players have dropped off dramatically. I mean, Perfetti did drop off a bit, but there was no chance he was ever going to make it down to the high teens.
Just seeing. So I'm hearing right now, 2 minutes ago, that New Jersey is open to moving this pick. What's it going to cost to get that 18th pick?
Second and third?
No, way more than that.
You think so?
Probably. So they're probably just looking to move down. They're probably looking at a team that has a late 20 pick. Plus, they probably want their second and even maybe multiple seconds from them. But why would they be? Well, they have had a pick already, so they already have. Maybe they got the guy that they really wanted in their first pick. I'm just trying to.
Nope.
New Jersey
They
Devils
kept
have
it.
selected Dawson Mercer at the 18th overall pick. They kept the pick. So 19 going to Calgary with that kind of makes sense. Canadian kid going out to Calgary. I foresee Calgary taking the offensive potential in Hendrix Lapierre. If he makes it to New Jersey here, I'd be very surprised. Interesting pick, though. Dalton Mercer. So they did value Dalton Mercer ahead of Hendrix Lapierre. It's kind of interesting. But the reason we know that is because if they valued the other one more, they would have taken him at 18 and hoped that the other one passed through 19. So we do have Calgary on the board right now. We'll see what they decide to do. For those of you out watching, if we have some Leaf fans in the room, what do you guys think of the Leafs pick with Amarov at 16? Or sorry, 15? What do you guys think of the Leafs taking the Russian, not knowing if he's going to come over or not? Definitely high-end talent, they say. But what do you guys think of that? We want to know about that. We also want to know the Detroit Red Wings going a little bit off the board and taking who'd they take it for?
Lucas Raymond.
Lucas Raymond. He was a consensus top 6 or 7 pick. I think they jumped up just a little bit to take him, but they left a Cole Perfetti. Cole Perfetti then continued to slide. Sorry, slide. I got the hiccups.
Yeah, he went down to what?
11?
11 or 12?
Yeah. So maybe they weren't the only ones. Obviously, teams draft for need. Which I think is kind of silly. I think teams should always draft the best player available because every year there's trade deadline, every year there's free agency. So if you have needs, you can fill them that way as well. Obviously, you don't want to go too deep into, like, say you need defensemen. You don't want to spend your entire draft, your 7 draft picks drafting defensemen because then you'll have no forwards coming up.
Yeah.
So you like to just have a good mix. So I would take the best player available in the first round because they're there for a reason. If it's 1A, 1B, forward or defenseman, I guess if you needed defenseman, you would go that way. But I wouldn't go off the board to take a defenseman. I would just take the best player available.
Think Calgary takes Lapierre?
I would think so. He's the best player left on the board as far as a few of the scouts are saying right now.
I'm curious to see what Calgary does. They need to really kind of rebuild everything. I don't know if
Jeff's saying right now that Detroit drafted the best player available because they don't need wingers, they need centers there.
yeah.
Maybe that is so because they definitely passed on a few high-end centers that were in the draft as well. So maybe they are looking at the best player available scenario. They also have a high second-round pick, and they could probably get a center there. But they could also get centers through free agency. We know there's a few available. If they're looking for a short gap fix, maybe a Mikko Koivu.
Yeah, but we also talk about Detroit being a place where people are going to dump contracts, right?
Steven Stamkos has been rumored to Detroit because I started that rumor.
Yeah.
Hey, we had 100 messages. Nice to see. We always get 100 messages, it seems.
We do.
And that's the best part of our show. It's always interactive. So what do you think tonight? We're at about the halfway point, actually a little bit further.
Yep.
How do you feel about being just outside of Hulk Hogan's butt? Brandon has had to sniff Hulk Hogan's butt the entire night.
I've been in Andre the Giant's crotch, and now I have Hogan's butt.
So he's upgraded to Hogan's butthole.
Is that a good upgrade, do you think?
I guess, yeah. He seems like the type that would probably bleach and wax. He does. He's
blonde everywhere.
Yeah, he's blonde everywhere. So, and things just go off the rails as we're waiting for the Calgary Flames pick to come in.
It's almost at a point right now where you're like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
You're like, eh.
But we are here for the entire first round, folks. That's something that we need to.
Better hope he ate his vegetables.
That's right. Just catching up on comments here. Dalton Mercer, also from Newfoundland. Oh, so some interesting news. We do have a trade.
What?
Hit the trade button.
Trade alert.
Calgary is trading down to the New York Rangers for picks number 22 and 72 in the draft this year. So that would be a they're moving down what looks to be about 3 picks, and they're going to acquire a third-round pick for doing it. So the price is actually fairly cheap in my opinion.
Yeah.
For the Rangers to jump up 3 spots for a third-round pick, I don't see that as a steep price.
No, I said it was maybe a second and a third round, right?
Yeah. So I did mention that, the fact that you might see a team in the later 20s be able to jump up now. You might see more trades like that take place. When things get past, or when things get to about 15, it opens up a bit because now you're taking a little more risk in your players, I think. But it's nice to see we have our first trade, even though it is for just picks. It's good to see. And everybody online's going nuts saying, trade, trade. Finally. So officially, the New York Rangers will take the 19th pick in exchange for the 22nd pick and the 79th pick in the third round. So that's pretty interesting. So we're gonna move to what the Rangers need now. The Rangers are full of high-end offensive talent now. Maybe the Rangers are going up for the defenseman.
They got to go for a D-man. They have to.
Maybe who do we have best defenseman on the board? Is it still?
It would be Braden Schneider, right?
Yeah, Braden Schneider. So I think the Rangers have made this move to jump up to take the defenseman. I could be wrong.
I mean, the Rangers have a good prospect in Adam Fox on defense.
And they're also rumored to be in the Petrolangelo sweepstakes.
Right.
So we might see them bulk up on defense. They definitely don't need any offense right now with Panarin, Lafreniere coming in, and we also have obviously Kakko. So they have 3 high-end talents on offense right now, plus other guys obviously. But we're looking at the fact that they might need some help on defense.
So switch that over to the Rangers, and they get 5, right?
Kind of interesting that I think they're making the pick right now. I don't think they're going to wait.
Well, they better wait because I don't know if the pick is in. They're taking LaPierre. You think they're taking LaPierre?
Looks like that.
They went right to him.
We've got some trade rumors here. You want to throw the trade rumors up there?
Trade rumor.
These are quite big rumors, actually. New Jersey is looking to bolster their offense right now. They're talking to Vancouver about Brock Besser.
Oh,
and
wow.
They're also talking to Minnesota. Sorry. New Jersey's talking to Vancouver about Brock Besser. And Minnesota and New Jersey are talking to Toronto about Nylander or Andreas Janssen, which I mentioned last week. So Toronto is probably looking at Matt Dumba, but can they afford him?
He's what, 6.5?
So if they're looking at a Matt Dumba, it would have to be Willie Nylander going the other way to make that deal, because the contracts would have to kind of offset each other. So very interesting. Maybe that's why Toronto took the high-end winger rather than a defenseman. They're going to fill their defense via a trade. What do you guys think of that? That's coming across the wire right now. Some trade rumors. Did you throw up our little trade rumor?
I did.
Tell us what you think about that. It's pretty interesting, actually. Pretty interesting. Oh, look at this. He had a hat. Gooley already had a hat, so that's interesting. Maybe he knew.
I don't know. Speculation says that they're taking Lapierre. They're going to take Lafreniere and Lapierre.
The two Frenchmen.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know what they're waiting for right now. I think it's just TV telling them to wait.
Slow it down. Slow it down.
Jeff says it's dumb, very dumb for Calgary. You think it's dumb for Calgary to move down? There was a couple good players still available on the board, that's for sure. Just trying to get some info here. Braden Schneider is the pick.
Okay.
So it is official that Braden Schneider is the pick for the New York Rangers. Just across the board right now from a few guys, David Pagnotta, Corey Proterman. So the pick is in for the Rangers. Maybe not on the TV side of things, but it looks like it is official. So I did mention that we were probably moving up for a defenseman.
Well, they need D because they're really stacked on offense.
But this is a guy that probably won't help them for a few years. So here it is, Braden Schneider going to 6'2", 202 pounds. He's already probably NHL size. He's not small by any means. Right defenseman, big kid actually. So you might see a guy like that be able to step into and 60 games, 42 points. So he can put up the numbers, that's for sure. A good WHL guy. Looks like Brandon Wheat Kings. Interesting. Very interesting that the Rangers jump up to take him. He might have, I don't know, because he was the best defenseman left on the board, maybe they thought he wasn't going to be available at 22.
There's a possibility that you like that,
Columbus loves to stock up on defensemen. Maybe they were going to take him. New Jersey, having taken forwards in the draft, maybe they thought they were going to take him as well. Interesting for sure. When do some of these second-round picks start getting thrown into the mix? There are teams that have numerous second-round picks.
We got to put the Devils on the clock now.
We have the Devils on the clock. Very interesting. What do you guys think of this pick? Jeff doesn't seem to be too happy about this pick. He was the New York maybe saying that they did need a defenseman. Maybe they thought, or maybe they knew something with Columbus, or maybe somebody else that was going to take him, and being the best defenseman left available in the first round, they had to take him now, or they weren't going to get him. Obviously, New York is heavily rumored in the Alex Pietrangelo sweepstakes. I think that's where he's going. But things kind of opened up. Maybe they think they won't get him now with Philadelphia, Niskanen retiring, and them getting into the sweepstakes. You don't know what's going to happen in the next. That's what the problem with free agency coming after the draft. Obviously, I'd almost be it'd almost be better for the NHL to have free agency before the NHL draft, because you could go out and buy the players you needed and then figure out what you needed in the
fill
draft.
those holes. Fill those holes afterwards.
Because when in free agency you might sign a guy for 5 years and say, well, I don't need any left defenseman right now because I just bought one for 5 years.
Yeah.
You might make the argument that free agency might be better off coming before the draft. People saying the Rangers will win the Cup by 2023. That's pretty ballsy.
You know, it's almost a good thing we didn't do Hockey Night in Canada, Hockey Card Night in Canada. We wouldn't have time.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have time to do anything.
Too much going on right now. We're trying to follow along. I guess I don't need to charge my phone anymore.
And I mean, for our first show or whatever, we've been pretty busy. There's a report from NHL News that said Schneider was a New Jersey Devils draft target, and the Rangers just took him from him. I guess the old adage, you snooze, you lose, comes into play right there.
Yeah, so New Jersey going with offense first at 18 kind of cost them the defenseman.
Yep.
Again, one of those things, right? They could have took the defenseman. They would have lost either one of them. I think whoever was going to pick was going to take one of those two. New Jersey took the chance by moving down.
I think New Jersey stays with offense here and goes with Lapierre.
It's definitely interesting. They had a team like Colorado maybe taking him later in the first round because he's more of a home run type guy.
Right.
You don't know if he's going to be. Here we go. We've got the best available. We've got it looks like 3 centers still on the board with Connor Zary, Henrik Lapierre, and Ridley Grieg. My favorite, Noel Gunler. I do love the name. Jake Neighbors is good too. These guys are the next 7 best players on the list. We'll see if any of those guys slip down into the second round. Maybe we are pushing towards the back end of the first round. It will be interesting for sure. Interesting fact, someone just brought up the fact that D-men retain value better than forwards do. It's harder to find top 4 defensemen than it is top 9 forwards anyways.
Yeah.
So if you have the choice between a top 4 defenseman or a bottom 6 forward, in all reality, you would take the top 4 defenseman, especially when you get 7 years before you have to really pay them. Obviously, restricted years also in there too, so... defensemen are very expensive and very hard to come by for top 4 defensemen.
Jeff said if he was Detroit, he's calling Jersey up and taking Lapierre, going for a home run. But who are you going to give up? What are you going to give up for that pick?
You would have to give up probably
your early second.
You're definitely at least your early second and probably multiple.
But if you look at what Calgary just gave up in the New York,
but they only moved 3 spots.
Right.
So when you're only moving 3 spots, the third round pick was basically like, thanks, here it is. To move up 3 spots when you could have definitely got a decent player still at 3 spots away, a third round pick is probably actually pretty hefty. Jeff saying move up, give him the 32nd, the 56th, and a 3rd.
Jersey is taking Shakir Mukhamaladulin.
What?
Defenseman in the KHL.
The New Jersey Devils are reported to take Shaquille O'Neal.
Shakir
wow, who is this guy?
6'4", 178 pounds.
What is going on? This is when you start to see these off-the-board type...
wow.
This guy was literally nowhere.
I don't even know who that is.
This is interesting.
But you know what? They needed a D-man.
Yeah, but there's other defensemen.
No, I get it, but they needed a D-man, so...
I feel bad for whoever does the SP Game Use nameplate to him. Mukhamaladulin.
Mukhamalading-dong.
Wow. That is a very interesting pick.
Yeah.
You figure New Jersey probably could have moved down again
To pick that?
to pick that. Yeah.
For sure.
What are they doing? That's interesting. Russian defenseman taken in the first round. I literally see Zadarov's an NHL defenseman, but we don't know about Alexeyev yet. But there's two in the last, basically since 2010, it says, that have been NHL players. Like, they're not. It doesn't look like they're definite NHL players for sure.
Yeah.
That is a very.
All right. Columbus is on the
Yeah,
board.
who? Some guy. We got Columbus up next. Columbus always looking for offense. They got a ton of defensemen there. Maybe we see one of the offensive players get taken now that have been sitting and sitting. Just seeing what everybody's saying right now. Thoughts and prayers to the New Jersey commentators that will have to say his name in 2 to 3 years.
Oh, they'll come up with a nickname for him.
Yeah. They've already got a nickname for him, the Muckster. Nice. That is definitely off the board. Crazy pick there. Jeff, if you want to look up real quick, help us out. Where was he ranked in scouting?
I'm sure I could look that up here.
That's an interesting one. How far did they jump up to get this guy? Just click on the elite prospects. It'll give you a ranking. They rank them all. Anyways, that's a very interesting pick. Tell us what you guys think about that. That's
ranked number 46.
So he was ranked to go in the top 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So they did jump up a bit to get him. Maybe they got wind that another team was going to take him.
Ranked as high as 22 by Craig by ISS Hockey, and ranked, I guess, a little bit more locally. Oh, ranked 17 by NHL Central Scouting.
For European skaters.
European skaters, yeah.
Yeah.
Ranked 42 by Bob McKenzie.
Bobcat had him at 42, so he did jump up quite a bit. Might be the steal of the draft. We don't know. Definitely just an interesting pick for sure. Nobody else on the board has more than one pick, so we might not see too much more movement by the looks of it. We got Columbus, Calgary, Philadelphia, Washington coming up. Very interesting. Did we lose our comments?
Nope. Just when I switched.
Ah.
I can't look him up because I can't spell his name.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Funny, you put Shakir in, he's not even the first Shakir that pops up. I wonder if Shakira shows up before him.
I hope so.
Well, hips don't lie, buddy.
It's good to see we have so many live viewers right now. It is a quite a long show
Marathon show tonight.
It is a marathon. We're sitting at 2.5 hours already, and we've got I think 10 more picks still. So it is going to be a little bit more. We thought tonight's show probably go 3.5, 4 hours. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, give us the thumbs up too. We're getting a ton of minutes tonight on our analytics.
Are.
That's for sure. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Obviously, we still got plenty of ways to go. If you are out there in YouTube land, definitely say hello. If you haven't commented for a few minutes, let us know you're still here. We don't have the sound on, but I'm reading on Twitter that Brian Burke's been going off all night with. He's been hilarious. So I kind of wish we had the sound on for us to hear what he's saying. But
okay, so another I think off the board pick, Yegor Chinikov.
So Yegor Chinikov, right winger from I believe Russia, just got picked by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jeff is right on the money. If teams right now are not calling draft night flake, no, we're doing flakies for. We've got cupcakes. if teams aren't, Jeff's right. If teams aren't calling right now to move up in this draft to take a guy like Hendrix Lapierre, who could be a massive home run, you're not doing your job. I would be calling Calgary right now if you could get that pick. I don't know what anybody's. I don't know why they're going off the board for these picks. If you're looking for a home run, it's sitting there with Hendrix Lapierre. He's the biggest wild card of the draft. Despite injuries, a lot of people had him still top 15. Without the injuries, they said he was probably a top 10 pick. He's obviously the guy that is sliding right now. He's the best player available on the board, but they keep going off the board. Pretty good stats for this guy though. From Omsk, Russia, 5'11", 179, so a little bit smaller. That's actually probably average in the NHL now. But 69 points in 56 games. That's actually fairly good. 27 goals.
Yeah.
That was a junior team, Russian junior team. So he wasn't playing against men by any means, but he put up some good numbers. That's for sure. Pretty interesting stuff going on. I think we're going to see some picks start to move around. Calgary just moved down for this, didn't they? They traded with the Rangers.
Yeah, this is the Rangers
maybe
pick.
Calgary gets lucky here and they can still get a guy like Lapierre and even attain another third-round pick. It's pretty interesting. So I don't know if Hendrix Lapierre maybe falls to like 25 or 26. I'd be calling, like, if I'm the Montreal Canadiens, I'm calling with like 2 of my second-round picks to move up. At 25, they're basically second-round picks anyways. I don't think he goes. So a lot of people had him going to the Colorado Avalanche because he would have a lot of time to mature there. They've got a pretty good forward group there. He would have time to mature and not be rushed into a situation. Same with Washington. So who knows where he's going? He might go to Calgary. They need offense, obviously. He might go to the Philadelphia Flyers because they could put him with Giroux, another French-speaking player. Obviously, the teams towards the bottom of the list don't need as much help, with the exception of the San Jose Sharks, who were awful this year. But everybody else on that list made it deep into the playoffs, and they have pretty sound teams. So it's kind of interesting. Like, these teams might be willing to move one player for volume and try and fill 2 holes in the second round. Interesting for sure.
I still think it's interesting. We haven't seen any major names be moved.
We had the Domi
Outside of that, though,
trade
there's been
early
nothing.
on.
There's been nothing.
Like I said, though, a lot of picks or a lot of trades might take part in.
Like, do you think tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. So people might see a player's name still available in the second round, and there will be players available in the second round with these teams going off the board, taking guys in the 50 range that were ranked.
Do you think Laine's? Do you think Winnipeg's on the phone right now with trying to figure out how they're going to move Laine?
I think Winnipeg is definitely on the phone looking to move one of their forwards to cut salary cap, mainly just because of the fact that they just picked up Cole Perfetti. That kind of helps their situation moving forward. This kid does not look happy.
No.
Yeah. I feel bad for this kid.
Look at Mom does not look happy either.
I don't think that's Mom. I think those are his sisters.
You think that one on the left is his sister?
Maybe. It's kind of upsetting, like when you're the guy that's sliding. Looks like he's at the arena actually. So Connor Zeri's actually the best player available right now. Jacob Perreault is another really good forward they're talking about. Obviously Yannick Perreault related. I think it might be his son actually. So he's got a goal scoring pedigree. He's a right winger, but his dad was a center, probably the best face-off man in the league for 10 years, if you remember. Brandon's too busy on his phone to take part with us tonight.
I'm just looking, but I remember Yannick Perreault.
Ridiculous. He's getting.
I'm doing a lot. I don't get a chance to just sit and talk, buddy. I'm prepping the fonts. I'm checking the.
Trade rumors are starting to pick up again. Just going on. What's going on? Not much. It seems like there's almost Calgary is out of time. Calgary's time has run out on the board. They still hadn't made their pick. That may mean that they might be trading
another
again.
trade. Yep.
They could ask for a.
Calgary is moving again. Calgary is moving with Washington for 22. 22 for 24 and 80.
So Calgary is picking up third-round picks like it's going out of style.
All right, so I gotta get a Washington font in here.
So we have Washington on the board now. I definitely think Washington steps up and takes one of these top forwards. Well, Washington's also famous for taking Russian players. They've got obviously Ovechkin, which wasn't a surprise by any means, but we'll see what's going on here. We've got another trade to announce. Calgary does trade. I'm not seeing the picks here, but I'm seeing they trade.
24. They get 24 and 80 back for 22.
So Calgary doesn't seem to be impressed by what's out there. They're going to go with volume rather than. So they're moving to 24. You said
24 and 80.
So here's where it gets interesting. So now they're moving further and further out of the first round. If Hendrix Lapierre is still there at 24, would they take a pair of second-round picks for him? Jeff, your dream might come true. If Hendrix Lapierre is still sitting there and a team really wants him that doesn't have a pick left in the first round, do they give him a pair of seconds for that 24? That's interesting. You think he's going to Washington? Maybe.
Jeff says maybe Winnipeg is going to move Lars Ellers.
Ehlers was one of the names that is definitely on the board. I was hearing a lot of I can't remember the other guy, but Ehlers was one of the names definitely. The only names that I didn't hear Winnipeg want to trade were Connor and Scheifele. But it looks like Washington has made their pick. They're at the podium right now. Or do they get 5? Yeah, they get 5
minutes. Yeah. I don't suppose you have an Apple charger around here, do you?
No.
Good. Gonna have to be switching back and forth to another screen.
All right, so we got Philadelphia next on the board. Washington obviously wanted somebody at this spot. That's why they moved up. You'd have to think it's got to be one of those two forwards on the board still. Who's this guy they're talking to from Ottawa right now? He looks pretty excited.
I can't remember my password to get in. Ridiculous.
Pretty interesting. The Calgary Flames have now turned one pick in the top 3 rounds into, or sorry, one pick into 3 picks in the top 80 spots. So if you're looking for volume over quality, I guess you'd call it, quantity over quality. Maybe they're looking to hit a home run in the second round and third round, but yeah, they've continually traded one pick to acquire 3 picks in the top 80. They still have a first round pick. Will they move down again? Maybe they don't see anybody they want right now, and maybe the guys on their list are falling anyways. So maybe they know they can get at least one guy that they still want. Nothing on Washington yet. Waiting for that pick to come in. Anything can change, but at this juncture, they're saying that the Senators will use the pick at number 28. So Ottawa won't be moving out of the first round for multiple assets. That is definitely what they're saying. Any comments right now? Jeff's saying that he thinks Washington did move up to take Hendrix Lapierre. I feel terrible for the guy. But look at the Russians on that list. Samsonov, Burakovsky, Kuznetsov, Varlamov, and obviously going back further, Ovechkin. They've had a ton of Russians picked on that team, so who knows, they might have a Russian in their back pocket they're looking at. Done very well with their draft, though. It looks like... and all those players, the reason they're pointing a note, they all picked them after the 15th overall pick. So Tom Wilson, 16, being the earliest. Samsonov, their goalie, 22nd. Burakovsky, 23rd. Kuznetsov. Wouldn't this be a huge win for this kid if Lapierre goes to Washington?
He is going to Washington. It's confirmed. Hendrix Lapierre going to Washington.
And the entire French media just says, why does it feel like they just got the best player in the or the steal of the draft? He's going to be a guy that, yeah, they're going to take their time, and he's going to have plenty of time to mature. And crazy.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush him.
How relieved is that kid to go to a team like Washington instead of New Jersey or Calgary? Unreal. Not the biggest guy.
That's definitely his mom.
I think he's more relieved right now than anything that he doesn't have to go to a team like Calgary or New Jersey. He's going to light it up with Washington. He's absolutely tearing it up right now in the queue. Again, if he didn't have the concussion issues, I think he would have been a much higher pick. They're obviously worried about that. I'm surprised that they had a Washington jersey for him.
Yeah, there's all the stuff with the concussions. 3 concussions in.
Yeah, so he's had
in a span of
9
year.
months. Yeah.
Oof.
So unbelievable that he lasted this long. It is what it is. There's always steals in the draft, and if this kid can stay healthy, he's definitely going to be one of them. But up next on the board, who do we have? Philadelphia. So Philadelphia, I think they're pretty much just drafting best player available at this point.
I don't think they have it. What needs do they have to fill?
They're pretty stoked on offense right now. They're pretty good on. Well, they do have an older offense with guys like Voracek and.
I heard Voracek was potential trade bait.
Well, just as a salary dump, yeah. But Claude Giroux's not getting any younger. It'll be interesting. I don't like him. Hendrix Lapierre. His comparable is Jonathan Drouin. Not the best comparable. But they're both still, well, Drouin's still pretty young, so who knows. Rooms to improve is durability, obviously, with all the issues.
Yeah.
But NHL potential is definitely a top 6 center, so 1 or 2. So with guys like Nicholas Backstrom getting older, Kuznetsov, he might take one of their spots, obviously, in a few years. Maybe he gets the key. He gets the first assist when Ovechkin breaks Gretzky's goal record.
Look at that look of relief on his face. He's finally breathing. He's like, oh.
I don't think he makes it past Philadelphia with the best player available approach. It's just one of those things. Calgary is definitely not playing by the same rules as everybody else, it seems. Especially the fact that they desperately need offense and they need to build a little bit for the future. So I think Calgary passing on a guy like Henrik Lapierre is just outright. I think the GM needs to be fired. Probably. I'm gonna go on record right now and say, congratulations, you just picked up a couple picks that might. Like when you pick up a third and a second rounder, the odds of those players actually making the NHL, I think it's 10% for the third round. I think it's about 30% for the second round of being an NHL player. You just passed on a guy that's got high-end potential. Why? Especially when you desperately need a rebuild in a town like Calgary. They're basically just spinning their tires at this point.
I think they're going to blow everything up, though, in Calgary, right? Like, I think it's going to be one of those things where...
Well, if they're blowing it up, why wouldn't Calgary move up and acquire more high-end picks to build for the future, not mortgage to get more maybe pieces?
Well, maybe what they're going to do is they're going to take those third-rounders and package them with players that they want to get rid of.
That's a possibility if they're going to do salary dumps, but... I don't think they're there yet. I think they're still trying to win, but I think they're one of those teams that's forever going to be a 6 to 10 spot. They're going to be a bubble team to get into the playoffs every year. I don't think it's working in Calgary. That's what I'm going to say. All right, so a lot of best wishes for Henrik Lapierre on Twitter right now. That's really all I'm seeing. It looks like is that their pick, Migulari? It looks like Philly's pick might be in.
I have no idea who that is.
We don't have the sound on here, but I'm not knowing who this Migulari is. Philadelphia picks Tyson Forrester, defenseman. That pick is already in. Corey Proman brought that out. So another forward slides. So it looks like that forward sliding down the is that Zeri, the center?
Yeah.
He seems to be the guy that is sliding right now. So pick 23 is in. Looks like Calgary does have a chance to take a center right now unless they trade again. Colorado, I don't believe, needs any centers, so I don't see them taking him. Colorado probably just the best player on the board type thing. Colorado is my pick to win the cup for an early pick. Can I do that?
Sure.
Early pick for next year's Stanley Cup, Colorado Avalanche. Especially when you hear rumors of guys like Taylor Hall going there on a sweetheart deal to try and win and then cash out in 2 years. Pretty interesting, actually, that he might consider that. Tyson Forster, 6'2", 194 pounds. Barry of the OHL. He's a right winger, not a defenseman. 62 games, 36 goals, 80 points. So he's a goal scorer. Pretty good point per game average there for the OHL. Probably going to be a second or third line top end potential for him. Probably a third liner, honestly. But you never know with these guys, right? Some of them, I seen Getzlaf was drafted in the late round of the first round for Anaheim. Ends up being a career, first line center. Very interesting.
What do you think is going to happen with Calgary? You think they're actually going to pick at 24, or you think they're going to trade again?
Calgary's on the clock, so they've got 5 minutes to decide regardless. I'm not seeing any news of trades right now, so as of right now, it looks like they might actually finally take their pick. If I'm a team right now, I'm probably not moving up though. With a guy like Henrik Lapierre, who was a home run maybe, off the board. There's really no need to move up unless there's a guy that you think might not be there. We're looking at guys that might slip to the second round right now, so we might not even have to get them right now, right?
Right.
So Calgary is on the board. 4 minutes we're seeing here. So what do we have coming up on Out of Bounds? We got Out of Bounds on Monday night coming up.
Got to review the draft.
We're going to review the draft.
I imagine we're going to have to review free agency because free agency.
Yeah, free agency is going to start. Probably going to talk about Thanksgiving. It is Monday night of Thanksgiving.
It is.
We're supposed to have some apple cinnamon flakies.
Sounds good.
That sounds awesome.
I saw that Alex came on and talked about what the thing that I had was. It was like a s'more something or other.
Yeah, so it was pumpkin s'mores with dark chocolate.
Yeah, it's good.
I ate one today. I didn't want to say anything, but
really
I did eat mine today.
It was really good.
I did eat one today, so I thought it was pretty good.
I'm gonna have to wear my stretch pants after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. I haven't had any of that stuff in a while.
Yeah, see, I don't do the stuffing, but I'll do a ton of turkey. I love turkey.
You are a turkey.
Turkey, mashed potatoes, I'll do that all day.
Why won't you eat the stuffing?
Still like the taste. And then
you just had bad stuff.
What'll happen is the tryptophan will hit me, and then the mid-show I'll just take a nap, a little bit of a nap here on the edge.
Well, that's what you're doing tonight, anyways.
Yeah.
Looks like Calgary is taking a player here. Let me see what's going on. Calgary's standing at the podium, which means they probably made their pick. That's interesting. Anybody with comments here? What's going on?
Nope.
Thank you to those of you that have stuck with us to the end here. We've got a few of you still watching live. Who's catching the fish here? That is a salmon.
Yep, it's a rainbow trout.
I thought that's a salmon. With
nope, look at the rainbow. It's the stripe on it.
Lies.
Nope.
A Chinook.
Definitely not a Chinook salmon.
Anyways, there was a fish on the TV. It's drawing interest from us right now.
Yeah. I was figuring out anything about Calgary. Cares.
I think Calgary just takes the best player available right now. They keep trading down anyways. Like,
who is the best player available right now?
Probably Connor Zary, I think it was, the center.
The centerman.
Pretty interesting, though. How disappointing might it be for Calgary fans tonight? You have really good hockey players on the board, or projected good hockey players on the board, and your team just continues to move down to acquire picks of players that might not even
pan out,
or like they're probably least likely to pan out. You have to get lucky in the third round for an NHL player to pan out. Literally 3 players from each draft usually make it 10%. So. Do they know something we don't know? Is the draft that deep this year that it's going to get into the third round with NHL quality players? Obviously, you still need players for your AHL teams as well. At some point, you're probably drafting for those teams as well, because maybe they don't make it to the NHL, but they help develop your players that will make it to the NHL, so they're always looking for leadership in those roles. But very interesting anyways.
Their pick is in, but I don't know who it is.
We don't have a name yet?
No, it says the pick is in. Lanny McDonald's doing it, but who did they pick?
No names yet, but they're supposedly announcing the pick right now.
Let's go to the pick is in.
Nothing yet. This guy might be fired after this year. If
possibly.
He's probably on the hot seat right now. Moving down when there's good players on the board. For what? I don't...
Yeah, sweet stash.
Yeah, that is one of the nicest mustaches in hockey. They take Connor Zary at 24th overall, who was the best player left on the board. So it looks like Calgary was just simply trying to acquire more mid-round picks, but they had really no plan going into the draft, I guess. They were just going to take the best player on the draft board and try and acquire more picks. Kind of disappointing if you're a Calgary Flames fan, I would think. There was no real urgency or plan there by the looks of it.
Yeah, look at. So their GM says their two biggest needs are goaltending and defense, and they take a centerman. Yeah.
Kind of a weird thing. Maybe they think that they haven't drafted a defenseman since 2011, and that defenseman being Juuso Valimaki, who I don't believe is in the NHL. But that was 2011, so that's ages ago as far as pro sports go.
Yep.
But they are going to take 6 foot, 179-pound Connor Zary. Very small-looking kid. Look how young he looks.
Yeah, he looks tiny. Pretty good goal scorer, though. 57 games, 38 goals.
Yeah, but imagine playing your first game against a team out west, such as, like, let's say...
Well, you pick any team.
Let's say St. Louis in the same conference, right? He's coming up the ice, and a guy like Colton Parayko steps into him.
He's gonna get smashed.
Like, this kid can't play in this league at that when he looks that small, guys. Maybe that's why he fell. He seems very, very small, even for 6 foot at 179 pounds. Probably should be up around 190 if you're 6 feet tall. Very, very small guy.
Well, I'm curious to see the scouting report on this guy when they talk about what his needs are.
I'm sure they're going to talk about it. What do you guys think of the pick? Connor Zary going to the Calgary Flames. Not much going on Twitter right now. Someone just said on Twitter, to think the amount of times that Laney McDonald got his game face ready to go to the podium and they told him to sit down twice.
Yeah, go sit down, old man.
Sit down, boy. Kyle Bukowskis, Connor Zary to the Flames and tell him Laney sent you. Ridiculous.
Well, Connor Zary's a shooter. Says he averages almost 5 shots a game.
The Oilers tried to trade Andreas Anthuzau, Double A or what do you call
Double
him?
A, yeah.
But teams figured he'd become an unrestricted free agent, and here we are.
And
that's what it says.
And they can pick him up for nothing.
Yep, they were trying to trade the rights to Double A, and nobody bid on it, so I hope they weren't trying to trade the rights to move back into the first round for another pick, because that's kind of overextending.
I don't think Athanasiou would warrant a first-round pick.
No, not for his rights.
No.
Not even close. He's probably a 4th-round pick just to talk to him. Very good point here. Every year, the run-up to the first round of the draft is riddled with trade chatter. Every year, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When are we going to learn? Same with NHL Trade Day. It seems like the draft, the big deals usually happen the night before. A little bit different with the GMs not being in the same room. Obviously, these guys might even meet at the bar at the hotel and talk things out. The drunker you get, the better the deals get.
The better they look.
They are human anyways.
I like Jeff makes a reference. For reference, Datsuk and Zetterberg were both 5'10" and 190 pounds. And he says this guy looks like a beanpole. And he's not the greatest skater in the world either.
Looks like we picked up a few more viewers. Thank you for coming back on. If you are watching, this is Rocket Sports Cards 2020 Draft Special. We're just sitting here doing live reaction to the actual draft. Quite a few surprises right now. Toronto jumps in and grabs the first Russian skater taken. And then who was it that New Jersey took the guy we couldn't pronounce his name?
Mahamaladingdu.
Well, Muhammad Hamadingdu. No disrespect to him, but he was slated to go probably in the second or third round.
Yeah.
They jumped up to 20 to get him, I believe.
Yeah.
That's quite a jump to get that player. Player to slide so far, Hendrix Lapierre slid to 22, I believe. Got extremely lucky when the Washington Capitals took him. Very, very lucky to go to a team like that where he's going to be able to thrive. Yeah. Count as lucky chickens or stars or whatever you want to call it. He didn't have to go to a team like Calgary or who else had a chance at him?
Oh, he could have went to Calgary. He could have went to. I mean, he could have went to Winnipeg because we were talking about Winnipeg.
Yeah, for sure. Cole Perfetti going to the Winnipeg Jets, a pretty good pick for them as well. The Canadian teams, any big surprises there? Montreal taking a defenseman with Gouli. He is full of confidence, this kid. Compares himself to Drew Doughty.
Yeah.
And he said, and he's the first defenseman that I think I've ever heard say that he's a two-way defenseman.
That actually touts being a two-way defenseman?
Yeah, so like he's not afraid to say that he's all offense, or not all offense, but he's definitely offensive.
Okay.
Usually guys, they talk about two-way forwards, but they never talk about two-way defensemen. I don't think I've heard that too much.
Right.
They talk about guys jumping in the play, but not being a two-way defenseman.
Yeah, that sounds like a defensive liability more than anything. Colorado's pick is in.
Justin Barron, 25th overall, defenseman.
That was the guy that Big Al wanted, I think, to pick for Toronto.
Yes, it is. So Big Al, if you're out there, the Colorado Avalanche just took Justin Barron. So he was your guy at 15. He fell to 25. That's quite the fall. 10 picks.
So I don't know who this is, but he wants to know where he can find the stream online. Which stream are you talking about? The NHL stream?
Are you asking about where you can watch the actual draft online? I'm not exactly sure. We're watching it on a Fire Stick right now, but we're watching we're actually watching the Sportsnet the feed right now for the. We're not listening to it obviously, but we're just maybe NHL.com. You might be able to find something.
Probably TSN. TSN would have it too, I would think, right?
I think you got to pay for it though.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where you can watch the stream online.
I almost wonder if you could just search it up on YouTube and find it up on YouTube.
Sorry about that, Alon. I'm not sure where you can watch that. Maybe YouTube as well. Yeah. So also Twitter. Twitter I think has live reaction to it and all that.
Or you can just hang here and chat with us.
Or you can just hang here and we'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
So far, nothing crazy.
Oh well, welcome from Israel, buddy.
Awesome, man.
Quite
That's
a ways.
awesome.
Good for you. How'd you find us?
How did you find us? Two Canadian guys talking about hockey when you're living in Israel.
Oh,
Searched
cool.
on YouTube. Cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
What's your team?
Do you have a favorite team over there? It's always nice to get new faces.
Yeah, well, we've had a guy from Georgia. We had a kid from Georgia, right?
Yeah, we always have a lot of people from the United States.
Kind of a surprise.
Their
team is Dallas, and they haven't not picked yet.
Dallas doesn't have a pick yet.
No,
so,
Dallas has not picked yet.
If you like hockey, Alon, make sure you give us the thumbs up and you subscribe to our channel because we're always talking about hockey. If Dallas is your team, you should go back and check our hockey picks because I did want Dallas to win the cup this year out of the two teams that were there, obviously. But when we picked our teams for the Western Conference, I actually had Dallas, St. Louis, and Colorado as my teams that would be out of the West, and Dallas didn't disappoint me. I don't know what Dallas is going to do. They're talking about potentially trading Radulov or buying out Radulov because he didn't have quite the year that they wanted him to. Are there any takers for him? He could have stayed in Montreal and probably been a hero.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, right? Dallas has a really good young team. A ton of really good young defensemen. I really like Heiskanen. Klingberg's really good. Who else they got there? I'm just trying to think.
Hang on, sorry, I'm just trying to get the next font up.
All right, we're working on the Anaheim font here. Really cool, though, that you stopped by. We appreciate that, and stay with us. We'll tell you what's going on here.
He's not in the States, Alex. He's actually from Israel.
So Alex is saying that NBCSN, so NBC Sportsnet, might have a stream on it. So maybe you try that. It's winding down anyways. There's only about 4 picks left. 5 picks. We got St. Louis, Anaheim, Ottawa, Dallas coming up. If you just hang out here with us, we'll give you a little bit of idea what's going on. Nothing really.
I'm really actually curious. How much hockey do you get to watch in Israel?
Yeah, if we're asking Alon, hopefully I'm saying that right, Alon. How do you watch your games in Israel? Like, do you watch on streaming services? Do you watch? You said you don't have a lot of TV there, so maybe you're streaming, like you're watching YouTube right now. So what's the best way to watch your games over there, and how many games do you get to see actually? Well, we appreciate you staying for sure.
This is fascinating. I could have a. I'm really curious.
You are definitely our furthest person viewer to come and watch the channel with us.
Nobody's watching. I bought NHL TV.
Cool.
Now, have you always been a hockey fan? Is hockey like your go-to sport, or is there another sport that you like that you watch?
This is fascinating to us because as Canadians, we're born into hockey.
Yeah.
We do obviously see that hockey is growing in other countries, but to be honest, Israel's probably not on the top of our list.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We do see that a lot of teams in the Middle East are starting to pop up, but it's very interesting that you're such a big fan. We're just curious. Like, we're a couple curious Canadian guys.
Soccer I could see. Soccer for totally sure, I could see. Now, is it because of the similarity between soccer and hockey?
How is it similar?
Well, I just mean the back and forth. I mean, it's a lot faster, obviously, than soccer is.
It's not even a ball, Brandon.
No, I understand that, but a lot of hockey players will play soccer to warm themselves up.
Soccer is definitely like a universal game.
The hand-eye coordination. I mean, you could say that about any sport, I suppose. And I'd be curious to know about Dallas. Like, what is it about Dallas that you like?
We're waiting on St. Louis picks St. Louis pick right now. Looks like they got about 40 seconds. Nothing on our end right now. Maybe a trade.
Jack Neighbors.
That's my favorite.
Jack Neighbors was taken.
Like, you can't get more apple pie than a guy named Jack Neighbors. So the pick is in for St. Louis. They've taken Jack Neighbors, left winger, 26th overall. I'm curious to see. They're going to show the Neighbors seating arrangement in the house, and they said they have stadium style seating in their house. So I'm curious to see this what this looks like here.
My parents are from Russia, so that's why I know about hockey.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Russia is definitely a hockey power in the hockey universe, so that makes total sense.
Have you ever played? You ever played hockey?
See the stadiums? They've got people up top.
Second tier seating.
Yeah. Well, congrats to Jake Neighbors, Calgary, Alberta. 6 foot, 195 pounds, so a little bit heavier. Yeah. That's where you got to be probably. Pretty good point total. 64 games, 70 points, 23 goals. So we're getting close to Dallas is picking 30th, I believe, are they not?
Dallas is 30.
So I believe it goes Dallas and then San Jose for the end of the draft. We have Anaheim, Ottawa, Las Vegas at 29, I believe. And then Dallas will finally be up for you. So who's your favorite player from Dallas? And with your parents being Russian, am I close with a guy like Radulov or a Niskanen or sorry, Nishkushkin or whatever? I think that's his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Russian-born players on Dallas. Is that something that interests you then? One of my favorite players.
In Israel, there are about 4 ice skating stadiums, so you've
Yeah.
never played.
My favorite player is a Russian in the NHL. I like Ovechkin. I think he's going to break Gretzky's goal record unless COVID takes him out for a while. I think he was going to be a serious threat to it. So kind of neat actually. Might see one of the records that was never meant to be broken. So it's one of those things we talk about on Out of Bounds all the time. Records that thought were impossible to break.
Yeah, so he likes Ovi. Okay.
Being Canadian, a lot of us like Ovi too. He plays like a Canadian. He's hard nosed. He's not to say that we do have a little bit different style, but just one of those things. So not too many picks left to go. We're gonna have to mark it on the board. Israel.
Absolutely.
Our reach is growing.
Oh, you're a Pavelski fan. Okay.
So Pavelski's an American.
Yeah.
Interesting. So were you a San Jose fan before Pavelski got moved to Dallas? That's interesting because Pavelski's only been there for a year or two now. I honestly think Ovechkin's the best goal scorer of all time too because he's also playing in an era where it's harder to score.
Absolutely. The competition is so much better than what it was back in the 80s and 90s. Oh, he says he has family in Dallas. All right. Ever seen it? Have you ever been to the stadium? Have you ever been to the arena in Dallas? Have you ever come over to Dallas, I guess, is really what I'm trying to get at. And if you have you been to the stadium?
Cowboy Stadium?
No.
Well, I call it an arena.
Well, the arena.
I thought you were talking about like in Arlington,
No.
like Cowboy Stadium.
No. Ducks are on the board. San Jose. Take the Blues off.
Cool. I actually got to go to a game at the Staples Center probably about 2 years ago now. It was LA versus Ottawa. I kind of wish I'm not big for going to watch hockey games live. I do own a sports card shop that specializes in hockey cards. I have a YouTube show that talks about hockey, etc. But when it's my own time, I don't really I watch the Montreal Canadiens play, but I could really care less about anybody else. So I don't really. I wish I wouldn't have gone to that game actually, if I'm being honest, and spent more time just exploring LA. If you only get a chance to go there once, I don't think I want to spend it watching hockey, especially when I basically work in the hockey market for a living.
Pick is in for Anaheim. Jacob Perreault.
So Jacob Perreault, I believe, is the son of Yannick Perreault. I will double check that, obviously. He is a sniper. I'm just trying to check to make sure that he is related. That's the first time I've seen anybody wearing masks.
I've seen a couple of them. I've seen a couple of them take them off.
Yeah. Oh, look at this nice dinner they've got for Jacob Perreault here when he finds out that he's drafted. He doesn't seem too excited, though. Well, he didn't jump up and down like, look how sweaty that guy's.
He is 20.
Are you kidding me?
That guy. Well, he's the dad. He's nervous. No, so Dallas, you got Ottawa, you got
Somebody
Vegas.
give that guy a shower.
So right now you got Ottawa and then Vegas and then you got Dallas after that. So you got 3 more picks.
Was that Yannick Perreault with the sweaty armpits?
It may have been.
Wow. That was unbelievable. I cannot believe how sweaty that guy is.
I'm taking Anaheim off the board. I'm throwing Ottawa up right now.
Dallas, I believe, is after Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. So he's got 3 picks. So I'll restart the clock here, and we will put the Sens up.
Can anybody? Oh, Sarnia Sting player. So if there's junior hockey next year, for those of you that don't know, we're only about 45 minutes to an hour from Sarnia's Arena. So if we wanted to, we could go definitely check out Jacob Perreault play next year, because I imagine he's going to go back to junior.
Yeah, he'll be good.
Well, who knows? You never know with these guys, but it's definitely a possibility. I know when Galchenyuk was selected by Montreal and they had the lockout, that I went to about 4 games that year to see him play. I do enjoy junior hockey. I think it's more competitive than NHL. They try, like they're playing for something. Whereas NHL, these guys are getting paid, and sometimes they take the night off. These junior players don't.
Sometimes
really do that.
They mail it in a little bit. I know.
I hope Brian Burke right now is talking about how sweaty that guy was. I get that it's a tense situation, and you've got this big party going on Tuesday night of all nights in Montreal. Probably that's where he's from. They rented out a restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the 28th pick. Your kid hasn't been taken yet. There's a very good chance he slides to the second round. You got to come back and do it all over again tomorrow. Maybe nobody shows up and it's just you and mom and dad.
Yep.
So the guy's sweating bullets there, thinking, "Oh man, we threw this party for nothing."
For nothing.
Very tense for these kids. You know what I mean? Like, you got to remember, they're 18 years old. Some of them obviously have turned 19 already, but it's just one of those things where it's a lot of pressure for these kids. I say that like I used to consider myself young, you know what I mean? But now I'm old, and I'm twice the age of these kids now. It's crazy to think, eh?
Yeah.
Did you ever think that way, that you're twice as old as these players now?
Nope. Never.
You never felt that way?
Nope.
Well, you are.
Well, I know, but it doesn't
You're
matter
almost
to me.
3 times.
But it doesn't matter to me, so...
You're almost 3 times as old.
I don't generally think about that kind of stuff. Like a wine, buddy. You get better with age.
The tea was better tonight, I'll give you that.
Good. I'll take that.
They're saying that Perreault is awesome value for the Ducks. He's got such great offensive upside. The risk in his game for sure. It's not going to be a defensive asset at all, so he's definitely a one-way player. But he can thread the needle on passes in transition and zone entry. He's got a lethal shot, too.
I did see that he was a bit of a goal scorer.
Yep. Hendrix Lapierre, who just got drafted to the Washington Capitals, said, I was a big Ovechkin fan growing up, had his jersey, had his poster on my wall. If Ovechkin re-ups, Lapierre would one day play with him.
Jeff is confirming that Perreault is Yannick's son.
Yes, that's what I thought I read.
Good.
Grant McKegg right now from Recruits is saying that if the Sens get Bork or Grieg with their last pick in the first round, he will give them an A+ on their marks for sure. Ottawa basically getting 3 solid future NHL players if that happens. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
Very interesting though that they're talking to this guy from Calgary, Triveling, isn't it? Triveling? Who I think should be fired. There's no other way about it. I don't pull punches on this show. I think he really dropped the ball. He didn't have to trade down twice and only acquire an extra 3rd-round pick by doing so. He let a home run go by and just kind of slipped through his fingers.
Were you talking Lapierre?
Yes. For a team that desperately
You know what though? But with the concussion history, 3 concussions in 9 months is a lot.
But on the back end of the first round, that's where you pick a player like that.
Yeah, but
he's a home run. He's either a swing and a miss or he's a home run.
All right, pick is in for Ottawa. Let's see who they're picking.
The pick is in. Let's see what we got here. Ridley Grieg with 28th overall. That is the pick that the Ottawa Senators acquired for the Pajot trade for the New York Islanders. That's worth noting because basically another when they shed some salary, they picked up another good player.
Cool. Alon, you're with us. Vegas next, then your team, then Dallas is up.
That's a good point, Jeff. When you have the 3rd and 5th pick, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to screw it up. You just take the best player available. With Stutzel being there, obviously he's 3. There was no real thought put into that. They were going to take one of the 2, whoever was available, and then obviously at 5, they had the best defenseman on the board, and they took him. This guy is fairly small, 5'11", which is probably average for the NHL now, but 163. 163 is very light. Mitch Marner type size. Oh, Graham's trying to get up there, having a little bit of trouble. There's definitely way too many people in that room for the COVID rules.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to pick her up. He can barely hold up his own weight, I think, on those legs.
Yeah. But congratulations to Ridley Grieg going to, who got him? Ottawa?
Ottawa got him. So I am a Detroit fan. Mike is a Montreal fan.
We welcome everybody with open arms here except for Toronto Maple Leaf fans.
Yeah, you know what? I am totally okay with you bashing the Red Wings because we were terrible the last few years. So by all means, I'll tell you how crappy the Wings are. Things are looking very bright for Montreal, though. Very, very bright. They've got some really, really good young talent.
Made an interesting trade today. Max Domi being traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Josh Anderson. Yeah. Jeff, if you're still here, what did you think of that trade? I don't think I talked to you about that yet. Domi for Anderson and a 3rd-round pick. I don't know why the 3rd-round pick was involved, but
could just been here. I'll rub your back a little bit if you take this trade, make this trade happen.
Yep, I think Montreal got the guy they wanted. You got some comments there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what Jeff's got to say. Jeff's been with us the whole night. What he thought about that Domi and the Domi and Anderson trade. A very weird feeling tonight that this is taking place on a Tuesday. Does anybody else feel weird about this? The NHL Draft usually a Friday night thing.
Well, especially if they're going to extend the season all the way back, right, till January 1st. You said.
Yeah. Well, they needed to have this because of free agency.
Yeah.
The hopes were that they would be able to start on time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not like October on time, but they thought mid-November to December 1st. But that's obviously out of the question now, so... looks like we got about 3 picks left on the night, and then we'll do a short recap probably.
You know, this does call into question. You see all these little things beside these guys where they're showing their faces? Remember how we talked about ugly players not being drafted?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have not seen a single guy
that was hideous.
That's a hideous looking guy.
Yeah, we always talk about the fact that you got to be cute to play hockey now, and maybe that's why certain guys aren't getting picked over others.
Alon is up on 5:30 right now. It's already Wednesday morning. That is dedication.
Dedication
buddy. Good for you.
To his favorite team. Yeah, we're just waiting on Vegas to make their pick. This would be, what, their 3rd or 4th first-round pick, or not even yet?
No, this is their 3rd, right?
Their very first first-round pick ever, I think, was Cody Glass, was it not?
Their very first first-round pick
was... Or no, sorry, it was Alex Tuck.
Yeah.
Ealex Tuck was their first ever draft pick. And Cody Glass and Nick Suzuki were the same year, I believe. I might have the years mixed up there, but I think that's the way it went. What's Jeff saying? I'm trying to figure out if Jeff's talking about that. Taylor Hall's ugly as hell. He mentioned the Domi thing up there.
Yeah. Let's see. Good trade for both teams. 3rd rounder makes a little sense. Columbus is going to try to buy out Wenberg, so Domi will take a spot. I like Anderson, plays a good power game and good defense. Yeah, the problem with Anderson, though, is that he's had that shoulder surgery, and since he's had that shoulder surgery, I don't know if he's going to come back the same player. It was only it was 2 years ago that he put up a whack of points, right?
Yeah.
And he's
So
not been the same player since.
I did. You guys being Detroit fans, I want to tell you something. I did read a comment today from Steve Yzerman. Steve Yzerman said that when Columbus beat Tampa Bay last year in the first round, it was because of Josh Anderson. He said they had no response for that guy. He just rolled them, and then that was it.
Golden Knight selections in.
They had no answer for Josh Anderson. That's how that guy can change a game. Brendan Brisson at 29th overall. Looks like he's a winger of some sorts. We do have the pick, Brendan Brisson for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So if you're still with us, the Dallas Stars are next.
He is. He's hanging. Said he was going to hang with us for a little bit.
Yeah, Anderson's definitely not old. He's going into his prime right now. The other thing that's interesting about that, Jeff, that a lot of people aren't mentioning, the other thing that's interesting about it is that he's going to sign a lower contract than what Domi was demanding.
Yeah, you said like half price or something, wasn't it?
They think he's going to be a $3.5 or $4 million player, and Max Domi wants 6.5. So, is he worth that? Absolutely not. Max Domi was very hesitant to play the wing in Montreal, even though they didn't want him at center because of the fact that he was surpassed by players like Suzuki and Kotkaniemi, and obviously Deneau's a better third line two-way player as him. So Domi's spot was literally the fourth line in the playoffs, and he's not going to help you there.
Well, you're not going to be paying him $6 million to be on the fourth line.
Yeah, so his value was going down.
Like, who are you, Abdelkader?
Yeah, so his value was going down. They bought him out today.
They did buy him out today. I thought you would have seen Detroit try to make a few more moves, but no dice.
Yeah, so Columbus might have... I think Montreal was basically addition by subtraction. I think Max Domi, the writing was on... Like, a lot of them were talking about the writing being on the wall. Claude Julien did not like him as a player. He kind of stuck his nose up at being a winger and didn't really compete. So...
Isn't it kind of crazy the way that some players have the audacity to do that?
Well, he was a high first round pick, right?
Yeah, so but still, like, I mean, what have you done? What gives you the right?
Oh, my guy's best player available, Noel Gunler.
To thumb your nose up at you're going to pay me millions of dollars to play on the wing?
Yeah,
I'll play on the wing. Absolutely.
So Dallas might get my favorite name in the draft here with Noel Gunler. Between him and Jack Neighbors, those are my two favorite names. That John Jason Peterka, he was on a lot of lists at like 15, 16. Like, he's fallen quite a bit, actually. The rest of the guys on that, Luke Evangelista, I don't think I've seen him. Maverick Bork was on a few lists as well, and Wallander as well for possible first-round picks. You're going to see guys like this that were on a lot of lists for the first round because you had 2 or 3 players that teams went out and got that were second or third round. The 2 Russians come to mind.
Yep.
But they weren't scheduled to be...
He's talking about Justin Abdelkader. Honestly, I think one of the worst contracts outside of maybe Johan Franzen that they've had in a long time. In terms of just the overall the deal. I mean, Johan Franzen was great for the playoffs, but did nothing during the regular season, and they paid him a crap load of money. And I think he just came off the books, like, not even, 2 years ago or something like that, and he hadn't played for 2 or 3 years.
See if we can get some answers here for the Dallas pick. Where are we at?
Yeah, we need some answers for Alon, who's still watching patiently in Israel at 5:30 in the morning.
Nothing yet. Got a few minutes left to go here.
Yeah, he's still on the clock. I gave him a minute and a half. You can't wait until Edmonton signs Abdelkader. No one is going to take Abdelkader. Nobody.
Where are we at with the... Okay, we got the chat up.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I think that deal for both teams works out. You might have a little bit of buyer's remorse with a Max Domi or an Anderson. I expect both of them to probably sign like 2 or 3 year deals, not long term. I don't think either one of those players are going to get long term deals until they can prove themselves again. But I think with Montreal needing to get bigger, Josh Anderson's a very hard. That from what I'm understanding, and I know him because I would have him in fantasy hockey because he was a solid 20 goal guy and a solid 20 assist guy, like, and a ton of penalty minutes. He's had 7 NHL fights, and you should see the guys that he's fought. Chara, Ben, like he steps up to the big guys. He doesn't fight the little guys. When it needs to happen, he goes down. So he throws down. Sorry, yeah, I don't think you want to say he goes down. He's a very likable player if he goes down. But anyways, very interesting actually.
I know you're saying Kenny Holland will sign it, but do you not think that when Kenny Holland left Detroit and he looked at that contract, he was like, woo-hoo-hoo! I don't have to get blamed for that nonsense anymore.
Something interesting here. I really hope for Alon's sake that Dallas didn't trade the pick.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the time is out for Dallas right now.
They got 40 seconds.
They got 40 seconds left on the television clock here. But nothing is coming across the wire.
Maverick Bork.
Oh, no. They took one of Jeff's guys, I think.
Maverick Bork is selected by...
he's a center. So everybody that's talking about Maverick Bork, even though it's spelt differently, they've got pictures of Tom Cruise from Top Gun. One of the coolest names, first names, Maverick, obviously.
Jeff said Bork is not his guy. Center's good. I need to see what he looks like, though, because...
He's got to be handsome to play in the league. Well, that's all we know.
A lot of the centers I've seen have been undersized.
But that's the way the game is nowadays. The wingers go get the puck in the corners, and the centers are little guys. It's not like they used to be where 5'10",
178. So he's actually not too bad.
He's average size, but he needs to beef up a bit. Alon, 71 points last year in 49 games, 29 goals in that time. Played in the Q, which is in Quebec, the QMJHL, for Shawinigan. So he played in the same league that Lafreniere, the first overall pick, went. He's a Quebec-born player in Pleasantville. Hey, his birthday's pretty close to mine. I'm the 6th. Pretty cool. He's younger, though, eh? He's only... He's an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, he'd be 18 right now.
Looks like more of a setup man than anything else, though. 49 games, 29 goals, 71 points.
Yeah.
More of a setup guy.
Well, he scored on a breakaway. Max Domi would have shot it in the crowd.
Off the iron, both of them, all 3 of them.
All right, so we got 1 pick left in the first round here. It goes to the San Jose Sharks. Are you happy with the pick, Alon? We're not getting a lot of analysis from fans with their teams. Yeah, you said he sounds okay. I think Dallas is in a position right now. They just took the best player available.
Yeah.
I think Dallas has a very good team going forward. Dallas maybe needs to address their goaltending, though. Maybe it's something they address, maybe not this year, but next year. Didn't they start the season with Ben Bishop?
Yep.
So Ben Bishop, definitely elder statesman as far as a goalie. Khudobin, not the youngest guy either. And as far as I know, no real prospects in the wheelhouse either.
I think they got to try and find a way to unload Jamie Benn. I think Jamie Benn's a very good hockey player. I think he's an overrated hockey player. He was my 2nd pick for most overrated in the league.
Really?
Yeah.
I get that he might be overpaid now for what he does, but he's a very good, tough hockey player.
Oh, he's a good hockey player,
I don't
but
think
I think he's not the...
He might not be worth the money
Not
anymore,
worth the money.
But I don't think he's one of those guys where you want to play him either. Like, he's a...
No, you don't want to play him, but I just... For the money for that contract? Yeah.
Well, there's lots of guys in the league like that. Look at Dustin Brown in LA. You don't want to play against that guy either because he's
Well,
kind
that's
of a
true,
hard-nosed guy.
Yeah.
But he's overpaid because he got paid 5 years ago. That's the problem with the NHL. You pay players for what they... Yeah, Ben is a great player.
He's a good player.
I would go to war with Jamie Benn. I would have Jamie Benn on my hockey team in a heartbeat. Has he got a nose ring?
I don't know.
The reporter from Calgary, very attractive girl. She's wearing orange for the Flames. That's nice.
Yeah. She needs to get a little bit more makeup on there because she's got a lot of glare on those cheekbones and the forehead.
Mom thinks something's funny, but
Mom's riding that all the way to the bank.
Oh yeah, my kid's playing in the NHL. My boy's gonna play in the big leagues. He's gonna turn some heads. I could make the starting roster for the Calgary Flames, and I'm over 300 pounds. I'm pretty sure if I was draft eligible this year, they would have took me best player available. I'm just saying the Calgary Flames, one of the teams that is on the sharp decline in my opinion. I said after what they did with trading down twice with a I would say a high risk, very high reward pick on the board, a guy that they need for offense. They turned him down twice. He got taken by Washington, that Henrik Lapierre. That seals the deal for that Brad Trivling in Calgary. Like, I don't think the guy's made a solid move since he's been there. Kivy. Jeff, what are you talking about? Love Kivy.
Oh, because I think Alon said that Kiwi is a rising star.
Who's that? Kudobin?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know nicknames for players anymore. I'm old.
Pick is in for San Jose.
The pick is in. We have our last pick of the first round.
Oh, Kiviranta? Kiviranta?
I
don't even remember.
Who is this guy?
I don't even remember seeing him play.
The San Jose Sharks select right winger Ozzy Wisblatt. Now I've got a new favorite name, Ozzy Wisblatt, 31st overall.
From where?
No idea yet. That hasn't come through yet. There's a article about him. Ozzy Wisblatt's NHL path paved by family struggles and sacrifice.
Okay, so he's a feel-good pick?
Yeah, he's a feel-good pick. Oh, look at the people going crazy.
He's from Calgary. 5'10", 183.
Well, you got to feel happy for somebody that their family, it means that much to them anyways.
Yeah.
If you guys could see this on TV right now, look at his hairdo. He's my new favorite player, Wisblatt. There's the ant going crazy. So congratulations to him. That's awesome. There he is there. That means a lot to go in the first round, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're the last pick in the first round, it does mean a lot to a lot of guys.
Well, first rounders are guaranteed entry-level contracts, right? 3 years.
I believe so, yeah.
3-year guaranteed contracts at the
$900,000, I think?
league minimum or whatever the entry level is.
Yep, so he's going to get paid. He just made over $2 million by being selected
just by getting
round.
his name called.
So yes, it does matter to these guys when they get drafted.
Yes.
With that being said, though, I think we're done for the first round, aren't we? Let's do a little quick analysis. Obviously, we knew that we did know that Lafreniere was going 1. We weren't sure who was going to go 2 and who was going to go 3, but that was answered fairly quickly with Byfield and then Stützle. Number 4 with the surprise at Detroit taking
Lucas Raymond.
Lucas Raymond. Cole Perfetti was the consensus pick at 4.
Yeah.
Especially with Detroit needing a center.
Dropped quite a bit, too.
He did drop all the way to 11th, going to... who did he finally go to?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg at 10, I believe.
Was it 10? Okay.
So he did fall. Toronto jumped up and took the Russian at 15. Montreal took the best defenseman available with Gouli at 16. Edmonton, I believe they went Marco Rossi, did they not? I can't remember who Edmonton took.
I don't know if they took
I don't have the draft.
I'm trying to
order
bring
in
it
front
up
of
right
me
now. Just give me a sec.
There are currently 6 defensemen sitting on the. I'm just reading here that
Minnesota took Marco Rossi.
All right, so here we'll go over a quick rundown for you. We did the first 4. Jake Sanderson going to Ottawa, defenseman. Drysdale. I thought there might be a run on defenseman at that point. Alexander Holtz going to New Jersey. Buffalo getting Jack Quinn. Marco Rossi to Minnesota. This is where things kind of got interesting. Cole Perfetti goes 10 to Winnipeg. Nashville actually jumped up and took. Well, they didn't jump up, but they took a goaltender with Askarov, who's highly regarded as the best goaltending prospect since Carey Price, which is saying something because they also drafted Carter Hart and said that. Carter Hart played very well last year.
Yeah.
Carolina took Seth Jarvis. That's the pick they acquired from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Edmonton took Dylan Holloway. Pittsburgh, Rodion Amarov. That was the pick from Pittsburgh for Kapanen that Toronto got. Rodion Amarov, Caden Gooley, Lucas Reichel, Dawson Mercer to New Jersey. New York, the first time Calgary traded down with New York, they take Braden Schneider. That was the defenseman on the board. New Jersey came in with a pick from Vancouver via Tampa Bay, so it's been passed around a few times. Took Shakir Dumoulin. I'm not even going to try again. Columbus at 21 took the second Russian of the draft, third Russian actually.
Igor
Shikhanov. Washington with the steal of the draft, possibly taking Hendrix Lapierre, falling all the way to 22. Philadelphia, Tyson Forster, forward. Calgary finally decided to make their pick after trading it twice. Connor Zary, a center.
And I think he was a higher ranked prospect than Lapierre, though.
Yes, he was best prospect on the board before Lapierre was taken.
Yep.
Colorado took a defenseman with Justin Barron. That's who Big Al wanted for Toronto. Obviously, Toronto had a chance to take a better player. They've got Broadway all lit up for Alexis Lafreniere. On to St. Louis taking Jake Neighbors, one of my favorite names in the draft. Anaheim taking Jacob Perreault, son of Yannick Perreault, who was incredibly sweaty tonight. Ottawa, from the Islanders, the pick for Pajot, or was it Pajot or no? I think it was Pajot, was it not?
Yep.
They took Ridley Grieg forward. Vegas takes Brendan Brisson, and Dallas, Alon was happy to hear that they've got Maverick Bourque.
Center, yep. And then
the last pick of the draft, the San Jose Sharks take Ozzy Weisblatt, and congrats to him for being a first-round pick. But that was our first ever draft show. Let us know how we did. It's interesting. Bob McKenzie has... Bob McKenzie has 10 players left on the board right now that were in his top 35 picks. So there's 5 guys that have dropped.
Well, Jeff made a good point. He's talking about the players that Detroit can pick. He's thinking that Detroit's going to take Wallinder.
So he's happy that Detroit has a chance to take Wallinder in the first pick of the second round. On this board, Jason Paterka is ranked 23rd, still available. William Nylander, 27th. Noel Gunler, 28th. Those are the only 3 picks that were currently available that were scheduled or projected to be first-round picks. Then you have 32 at Helger Grans, 33 Jeremy Poirier, 34 Jan Misak. That's another guy that Jeff is talking about. There were no Czechs taken in the first round, so he'd be the best Czech player available. That's somebody that you should look into when the guy's the best of an entire country.
Yeah.
That's kind of like alarms going off. 35 Marat Kuznetsov. 36 Tyler Klevin. 37 Ryan O'Rourke, and 38 Tapi Niemela are the best players still available on the board going into tomorrow. I'm not sure the time tomorrow it starts, but it's usually early in the day. They try and fly through the second day.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think. If you haven't done so, give us a thumbs up for tonight's broadcast if you liked it. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our channel as well. If you know anybody else that likes hockey, definitely give them a shout and say, hey, you got to check out these guys. They sit around and talk hockey all night and other sports too on our regular Out of Bounds program that takes place Monday at 8 p.m. We've got singles night coming up, 7 o'clock on Thursday night, special start time. I will post that early so that everybody knows. We're going to run through it fairly quick. Why? Because the Bears play at 8:30, and I want to watch the game.
Playing the Bucks, aren't they?
They're playing the
Bears
Bucks.
and the Bucks.
So I want to see Khalil Mack pop Tom Brady right in the face. That's what I'm.
5 touchdowns, Tom Brady.
Maybe the Bears are terrible on defense this year. I want to say thank you for we had a steady line of viewers tonight. A lot of you hung around for the entire show. It is a very long show. We're pushing. We're 8 minutes shy of 4 hours live on the air tonight.
Longest show.
That is our longest show by far, by probably an hour and 30 minutes at least.
Yeah, quite a bit.
My throat hurts. I've been talking for so long tonight. I ran out of tea at about the 1 hour mark, so we're gonna call it a night here. We want to say thank you guys definitely for tuning in to the draft show.
Appreciate it, guys.
I'm looking forward to what this means for tomorrow. Will we finally see some trades made? We only had the one really today with Domi and Anderson being traded. We also seen a ton of buyouts this week. A ton of guys saying that they're going to hit free agency. I think our show next Monday night on Thanksgiving is going to be very eventful. We're going to see a lot of names get moved around. I don't think the contracts are going to be as high as usual for free agents, just due to the fact of COVID. Teams aren't going to be throwing around money.
No revenue, right?
There's no revenue right now, so basically teams are dipping into their savings. Owners are going to have to take out of their pocket more and more. So it's one of those things. Where's somebody like Taylor Hall going to go? Where's Petrolangelo going to go? There's some serious free agents on the market. Mike Hoffman's a good goal scorer. You don't know where he's going to go. A lot of guys are opting for free agency right now, and maybe it's a little bit silly on their behalf. Maybe they just want to change the scenery. But it's kind of interesting at least anyway. So we will see you Thursday night for singles night for sure. That's starting at 7 o'clock. That's 50 cards in 50 minutes. I'll throw something together for you guys that'll be fun. If you can, our new viewers like Alon, if you want to check that out, we talk hockey all night. It's a lot of fun. It is sports card related, though. We do sell sports cards. We can ship to Israel if there's a player that you like. We can send it to you. But Thursday night for singles night, and then back on Thanksgiving Monday with a big show. We're going to have a lot to discuss. The fallout of the draft and free agency, and probably what you guys had for turkey.
Yep. All right. So I think that's it. You guys did a great job tonight. Thank you for all the comments, and thank you for chiming in. We appreciate your analysis. We appreciate you checking it out. Always nice to get new people in here. And we don't want to talk for another 6 minutes to make this 4 hours, right?
No, we better call it a night. Well, maybe someday we'll hit the 4 hour mark, but tonight, my name is Mike Lucio. I'm the owner of Rocket Sports Cards. This is Brandon, my co-host for this show. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in to Out of Bounds. And we had a ton of fun tonight. This is our first time doing something like this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We are somewhat amateur at this, but we're getting better every day. And maybe next year's will be even better. And we hope to see you then, too.
Thank you, Alon, for checking us out. I know you're saying good night to us. We're saying good morning to you. Enjoy your day. And we'll catch you guys on Thursday.
Take care.